Good evening, Metallurgists. What is going on? Welcome to episode number 226 of Heavy Metallurgy. I am one of your hosts. I'm Marty. Good to see you. The most awesome host, Alan, isn't with us tonight. He is out and about doing family things on a family weekend. So cheers to Alan. Hope you're doing well. And I am joined by two members of the Metallurgy family here, of course. We've got Jimmy from Future Ruins. Jimmy, how you been?
Going on, fellas? Good to see you again.
What's been shaking?
Oh, just staying busy. I've got it's been a good summer, and I've got a couple of new films up on my channel. I call them films because that's kind of what they are.
They're calling them the video is kind of cheap because you put a lot of fucking work into them. For sure. Oops, I swore. Demonetized. Anyway, go ahead.
So the first one was obviously one I had been working up to for a long time. It's called The Greenhorn Giants. I released that about a month ago, and it's sort of my last little foray into the Bigfoot industry. I'm not a Bigfoot guy or Bigfoot channel or anything like that, but it's essentially what it was is sort of the retelling of a story true story of something that happened to me and my wife about 10 years ago. For the longest time, I was really quiet about it. I didn't really tell anybody about it because I just felt kind of strange about it. But as I get older, I started to think, it's a good story. And as I do my channel, it's like really be cool to go back there and kind of relive the whole thing. So it was kind of, it was a lot of multiple attempts to get up there and do it right. I had to have the perfect weather scenario, and I did a pretty renowned mountain peak along the way, and retell the story. My wife helped me with it, kind of helped me remember certain things that I couldn't, and I don't know. I think it came out really good. It's a cool story. I think it's an interesting story, and I hope I'd like to get some feedback on it. Not a whole lot of people comment on it, but it's just
a lot of those things. Though?
It didn't do quite what the first one did yet, but it's inching up there. It's at like 6,000 or something like that. It's something about the Bigfoot algorithm. People like those type of videos, and then they get pissed when they don't see a Bigfoot in the video. But to me,
with all of them, most of them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there isn't really one, but it's a compelling story, I think, and we don't really know what it was, but we've experienced something that we felt was something of the supernatural variety. And so I did that, and then I just released a new one last week. It's called The Phantom Terrace, and this is another one that I've been working up to for a while, and was a difficult film to do by myself because it's more of an adventure video. Big mountain peak in the Sangre de Cristos, and there's a bit of history in there I injected to the land, and the natives that live there, and also kind of did I guess what some people, if you're a little bit squeamish about heights, there's a section in there. I know Marty, you commented on
because I was watching him like, what are you doing to me right now?
But yeah, it's kind of cool. It looks a lot worse than it really was, but it's a little bit of a sketch section to get across the mountain and up to the mountain peak. And, it was a glorious day, a great shoot. It was like ended up being like 10 hours of hiking and shooting and, having to get up at 3 a.m. and hike in the dark and get up there early. And so I think these two are kind of representative of where I'm at right now with my channel and what I'm trying to do and how I'm taking it into the future. I mean, each of these films are less than 30 minutes. They don't take a whole lot of time, but they're meant to be watched from start to finish or a documentary style. And I hope, it's not really metal related. I mean, I've never really been a metal channel, but metal has always been a big element to my channel. And there's music in there, and I try to, find music that syncs with the vistas. And so, but yeah, if that sort of thing interests you, come check it out. Put a lot of work into it, and I'm pretty proud of them. So,
yeah, but absolutely. Yeah. Links in the description, folks. If you're not subscribed to Future Ruins, please go check it out for sure. He puts a lot of work and dedication into it, and the shots, the footage is getting more and more impressive. The more places you explore, it's great.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Well, we love having you on as always, and it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And returning again is Daryl from the Celtic Frosty channel. You know him from the chat, you know him from the server, the Discord server. Go check that out as well. Link in the description. How have you been, Daryl?
I've been well. Thanks for having me back. And this is awesome to be here with Jimmy, who rules. So yeah, I'm excited about this. So good stuff.
Channel's
getting ready for the school year to start, and that's about it.
Yeah, channel's been a bit quiet, but have you got something going on in the works?
No real ideas in the works, but once we get back in the flow monetarily, we're gonna up our tech game, and hopefully that gets the flow going a little better. I'd like to do more of this kind of thing instead of just, pulling and showing to, check off boxes. I like the, back and forth.
Yeah.
That's kind of hopefully the future. Do that cult ranking and discography with Alan. I'm a uber fan of theirs. So.
Oh, right on. Yep. Yeah, I forgot about that. Right on. Yeah.
But that's about it.
Awesome. Well, it's good to have you back on as well. Thanks, guys, for joining me. And again, folks, Alan isn't here, obviously. I'm going to try to keep up with the chat tonight, but I might be a little slow or not showing much as I try to participate in the conversation as well. So bear with me there. It's great to have all you folks in the chat and joining us again. And happy release day. Helloween came out today. Giants and Monsters. Mm-hmm. I'm on the payroll. I have to say something about, no, not really, but my copies will be here tomorrow. So I'm psyched about that. Also, the new Monogarm is out, which I did get today. Haven't spun it yet, but I'm looking forward to that as well. So a lot of good stuff. We're in the third quarter of the year, and I think we're starting to get a little bit more heat in the release section. It was kind of a lull there for a while, but things are starting to perk up a bit. But yeah, tonight, Daryl thought, hey, you guys did the best closing tracks. Why don't we do something simple and do our favorite opening tracks? So starting with you, Daryl, we talk about, especially in the album club, we harp on, how important an opener and a closer is. What is it? What does the opener mean for you? What do you look for in a good opener?
Oh, absolutely. To capture the energy of the album that you're about to experience, I don't think it has to necessarily sit in the style you're going to experience for the whole album or the attitude, but you should kind of get a sense of the feel of the band and should grab your attention. So when we talked about it in the Discord, it actually came from a place where we talked about the opener being a ripper and the rest of the album being kind of meh. And so Metal Vault, Peter mentioned Behemoth, the Satanist, because this was for the closer. He loves the closer. And I love the opener and don't really care for the rest of that album. So that's where the conversation kind of started.
Yeah. Tell you that Discord server is a hotbed of good ideas. If you're not there, go check it out, folks. Seriously. Good. We have a nice little community there for sure. But Jimmy, same question. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'd echo what Daryl said. I mean, you have to start strong. I think it's interesting because, I found it a lot easier to pick albums with, great openers, whereas, finding great closers, I think is a little more challenging.
It was kind of hard. I thought it'd be easy, but it wasn't. It was kind of hard.
Yeah, and I really love album closers that when an album ends really strong. So I'm really into that. But for this was fairly easy because I would say that most of the albums that I really enjoy have strong openers, and that's always going to be of course you have to start. This is going to be the first thing, us as metalheads, we all enjoy a full album. We like it from start to finish. We like listening to albums. It's not about listening to singles of course, it does have their places. And, if you like to check out, the single that comes out before an album drops or whatever it is, I know most people really kind of just like to wait for the whole album. So in many cases, the first track is the first thing we're going to hear because we're album people. So it is of the utmost importance to hook you with that first song, especially in this day and age when there's so many albums coming out, so much to listen to that if they don't get you on the first song, you're moving on to the next record.
People's
You know?
attention spans have whittled down to nothing. People are more addicted to flipping through reels and shorts and TikTok, and
That's right.
it's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, like when I check out a new record or I'm trying to determine if I like something, I usually hang it. I'm usually in for 3 songs. I'm like, if you can't get me in those 3 songs, then I move on. But a lot of people are just going to stick with that first track, even, you know, and that's minus whatever little intro track there might be. The first official track of the record it's of utmost importance to get you.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to reiterate a lot what these guys said. It, we talk about it a lot, how the importance of the first track. And you look at it, I throw this under the bus every time we talk about this, but Celtic Frost starting off into the pandemonium with Mexican Radio. Right there, the alarm bells go off. And what is that? That tells you what's coming for the rest of the album. They really pride themselves on that being their avant-garde, work. Yeah, it was a pretty bold move for the times, but the album's really hit or miss for me, and that's right there indicative of the first track. For me, the first track has got to wake you out of the wonder and like what is gonna put that tape in the tape deck or the CD for the first time. You don't know what's coming, because I'm still a guy that I hate previewing. I just don't. I still don't. I blind buy. That's just the way it is. I'm old. I still, think about a couple of them. The songs that did this to me over the years are in my stack tonight, but hard-earned money, get that tape, walk through the mall, get to my vehicle, struggle to get the plastic off, throw it in the tape deck, and then that holy shit moment where the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. That's, if you preview before you buy, that shit's gone. And I'm still chasing that hope that I'm going to get that feeling again. It does happen on occasion these days. But for tonight, I picked a lot of nostalgic pieces because that's the easy grab. And I'm a guy that procrastinates to the last minute to do most of these shows. So I'm sure it shows, but, it is important that's your mission statement. That's your mission statement. You got to put your best foot forward on your first track, because like this modern, especially, it's even more so important these days now, because a lot of people aren't investing in your music. They're going on Spotify or Apple Music. If they hit play on that first song and it's lame or boring or doesn't grab them, they're not even going to get through the song. They're on to the next band. There's so many bands. You better make sure your best foot forward is on that first track. It's very important nowadays because people's attention span's so small and they're so easily distracted by the next shiny thing. So you definitely got to have a good opening track. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And thank you guys for joining me. But we're going to get started. I think we both all 3 of us have a pretty nice stack of shit here. So we'll start with Daryl.
Okay, if I am the leadoff hitter, I am going for the low-hanging fruit, and my final boss, it is not my favorite opener of all time, but I think if we polled most metalheads, it would end up being that. And so I'm starting with Aces High.
Yeah, that's an obvious.
Oh yeah.
I mean, with or without Churchill, I mean, it's such a great opener. And kind of like when I answered your opening question, it sets the feel. It's like you're taking off in an aircraft from an aircraft carrier. Just the way it builds, and the guitars even sound like a dogfight. It's just so beautifully structured, and it just has that ascending feel throughout the whole track.
The good thing about that song too is they have such a bombastic, amazing opener. It's okay to put a song like 2 Minutes to Midnight next, which is a good song, but it's way more subdued than the opener. And it's kind of a long journey type of a song with there's not a lot of dynamics in that track. So it makes that song even more effective coming off of a song with so much flash and, shock and awe, essentially.
Yeah, that's well said, because 2 Minutes to Midnight is my least favorite track on my favorite Maiden album.
Me too.
I mean, I'd listened to Back in the Village a dozen times in a row before listening to 2
I don't like that song either in particular, but yeah, the ending in
it's a
particular.
10 out of 10, but
Yeah.
2 Minutes to Midnight is worn on me a little.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. But yeah, that's my opener. I think when I started up the conversation and we took away the variable of part of the album being meh, then everyone said, man, that might be the best opener ever.
Yeah.
There were 3 or 4 others that I'm sure will get discussed tonight, but this was the leader of the pack on Discord, at least.
Yeah. Well, definitely you started strong. Jimmy.
Okay, I'm gonna sort of double down on Daryl here, and I was gonna save this one for a little later, but I kind of thought, Daryl, that you would pick this one, just because I was watching some of your videos earlier, and this one came up, and then I realized that this one came up in the closer episode, and yeah, it's kind of interesting, and I have to sort of like be the other voice of reason for this record. Of course, Caught Somewhere in Time. And I think
Love
it
that
was
song.
Logan that was all for this record in the closer. And then Daryl, I saw you were talking about this in one of your videos, and I was thinking, oh, I'm going to pull that, but I'm wondering if he's going to already pull that. So you went and did Aces High. I'm doing Caught Somewhere in Time. Now, Iron Maiden has a lot of great openers, on their records. They usually start very strong.
Yeah.
But this one is very special to me because this is the first Iron Maiden that I ever heard. In fact, Caught Somewhere in Time is the first song that I ever heard by Iron Maiden, and it's still one of my favorite Maiden records because it just caught me at a time where I was very young, just getting into stuff, and this being my intro, and next would have been Seventh Son. But yeah, so guess what, Mr. Professor? Rules.
Awesome.
Alan's not huge on this one, but maybe he'll change his mind since we're all telling him that he's wrong.
I don't think so.
But,
He seems to be pretty he's pretty solid in his thoughts on this one.
He's pretty solid on it. Yeah, but this track, it's a great opening track. It's a long one, and it's probably about 7 minutes. But it's a classic Maiden track with the dual guitars and the galloping drums, and just great, excellent melodies. The awesome, doubling up on the solos. Both the solos are great on this. That kind of like sit like sort of in the middle of the song. And then the only complaint maybe I have about the song is the end of it. They kind of repeat the chorus maybe a couple two times too many. But man, great drum fills by Nico on this. Just sounding great. This is kind of their prime. And if Iron Maiden's going to write a 7-minute song and it's not as good as Caught Somewhere in Time, then it shouldn't be 7 minutes as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, great opening to a great Iron Maiden record.
All right, we got the Maiden out of the way now. Well, since it's release day, and we're going to go with the German Iron Maiden. And this is a twofer. When I was younger and got this on record at Camelot Music in the bargain bin, Walls of Jericho. Obviously you've got the London Bridges Falling Down intro, but it explodes into Ride the Sky, which is hands down one of the best power metal / speed metal songs ever written. And to this day holds up. It's an absolute banger of a song. And it right away, talk about a mission statement. They took the German heavy metal aesthetic set forth by bands like Accept, which Frank mentioned, Fast as a Shark. That's another great opening track. You take the Fast as a Shark template and, give it the little bit more of a traditional metal and speed metal kick in the pants, and you've got Ride the Sky. And, it showcased right away the dueling guitars of Wyckoff and Hansen. They just locked in step. And then a few years later, this is a twofer, like I said, I remember being psyched to see that Keepers of the Seven Keys 2 was available. And so I picked that up probably about the week it came out. got into my vehicle, and as soon as the opening notes of Eagle Fly Free came on, every hair on my body stood up. Just one of those absolute banger songs from start to finish. Wyckoff just wrote an absolute amazing track, power metal anthem, really. And the way he structured the lyrics over the riffs is just a rapid fire. Kiska is really working to get, his words in there, but the outcome is just very over the top and bombastic and beautiful. It's an amazing song, good lyrics, good theme to it. And again, once Helloween kicks into the speed, you get their speed metal roots, and there's a bit of that on there for sure. Yeah, we get in some more silly tracks here as the album goes on, but what an opening song, man. Whoa, what an opener. And they're still doing it today. The new album is filled with, it's good to, I was talking to Matt. Well, everybody, Matt from the Dark Path, I was talking to him before we went live. He wanted me to tell the world hello. So Matt's doing great. He's doing fine. He just wanted to find out what I thought of the new Helloween, but we're talking about it earlier, and it's good to hear that they still have that speed metal core of their sound still intact. So they know what it takes to make a good album. They start off with bangers all the time, but those two were, from my memories, standouts for sure. All right, we got the Helloween out of the way, everybody. Drink.
I was going to say it's inside of 20 minutes too.
Yeah.
I turned around to check.
It's release day. We had to start with that. Had to.
Yeah, right. All right. For my number 2, I'm going to save for 2 more rounds what I think Marty is going to pull. So I'm going to wait and see if he does, if it's coming up. So I'm going to go to this one. This is one of my favorite albums of all time, of any genre. And I know I share that with a few metallurgists, which surprised me with one. But anyway, I'll save the suspense. There's the album, but just Battle Angels.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. We got this in high school at Camelot. We got it before the show because in New York, I don't know what West Coast had, but we had Warlock and Megadeth were the two with this tour on the So Far So Good So What tour. But we were right up front, and they opened with Battle Angels, and I still have some hearing loss in my left because that was the day when you're super cool and tough and you don't wear anything.
I still don't like to, but yeah, I've paid the price over the years. It's rough.
It's a hell of an opener, though. I still is always a little confused by the artwork. I mean, the art itself is beautiful, but what's going on in the storyline is still kind of confusing. And I love this one ghoul who's a lot like, yo, man, I was just holding the book.
Yep.
Anyway, rules.
Yeah, good pick.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, World Dane.
Hell yeah.
For sure. It was great. Okay. Somebody was just mentioning this one in the chat, and I've got a lot of nostalgia records for me as well tonight. And this one is another one that was brought up in the closing episode, but I have to, because this is probably I would be hard pressed to find a more favorite opening track of a record than Holy Wars, The Punishment Due.
Oh, yeah.
Rest in Peace. And this is a really special and nostalgic record for me because this was a gateway album when I was in 8th grade, 91. This came out in 1990, right? So I remember, in those days, I didn't really discover a whole lot of metal until, I don't know if you guys remember, there was the radio station Z-Rock.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was all over the country or not, but I had a cousin that made me a mixtape with a bunch of stuff that was dubbed off of Z-Rock. And it was mostly shit like Scorpions and Poison and Guns N' Roses. And, I like all that stuff because I was just discovering, and I thought it was like, the heaviest stuff I've ever heard. But that mixtape had Holy Wars, The Punishment Due on it. And I remember just hearing that for the first time and just being like, holy shit. It just blew my mind. Absolutely. I came obsessed with Megadeth and obviously Metallica at those times. I would watch Headbangers Ball every weekend, hoping to see Megadeth videos, and finally had bought this CD. I think I had it on cassette tape at first, and I went and bought the CD. And I remember just like just being so obsessed with this album. This really just shaped my whole musical identity. This record, favorite thrash record, and Holy War's The Punishment Due is just like such a perfect thrash song, and it's like, but it's like done in like 3 suites. You know, it's like 3 different movements in a 6-minute track, yet it still flows so perfectly. It's got some of Mustaine's best lyrics, and he sounds absolutely awesome on this. I always thought he was a great singer. And then, like, I was watching Headbangers Ball one night, and they were doing the Rock in Rio thing, and they were showing all the live clips from Rock in Rio, and they showed Megadeth to Hangar 18, and they did that live. This was like the best lineup too for me. Megadeth. Nick Menza was just such an underrated drummer, such a killer drummer that never overplayed. And watching like the Rock in Rio version, you know, the live version of Hangar 18, and Mustaine starts singing, I'm like, oof. Man, that doesn't sound good at all. Like, well, he really does not sound like he does on this record. But, and I, you know, come to find out later, he wasn't really a very good singer whatsoever. And, you know, anytime you hear him live, it's just like, but it's just something about his ability to perform so much better as a vocalist on record. You know, it might have something to do with playing guitar at the same time, but yeah. And it's funny because Alan was talking about Rust in Peace Polaris on the other episode. I found it interesting. He was talking about how, like, at the time, like, it was like the end of the Cold War. So like bands were like running out of topics, you know, like nuclear war and all that kind of stuff. But if you read the lyrics to Holy Wars, man, the lyrics in that song really kind of resonate today, you know, and without really, you know, getting into it or anything. I mean, read the lyrics of this thing and you can see what's happening right now in Gaza, you know? So yeah, I think there's timeless stuff on here. It's timeless music, and absolutely just, I mean, probably my favorite opener in a record I could think of. So killer stuff.
Absolutely killer pick.
Cool.
Well, I'm going to go into a little bit of a different realm here, I guess. I remember my buddy Scott buying this one day when we went to the mall together, and so I got to hear it for the first time in his car. And the opening seconds of Psychomania off of The Accused, Martha Splatterhead's Maddest Stories Ever Told. Oh my God. You want to talk about an awesome opener. It starts off with that plunky, crusty bass tone, and then kind of kicks into a gallop, builds up, but then there's like that held chord, they pause, and then just explodes where Blaine is just a screeching fiend. I mean, he just sounds so absolutely sick and over the top. The music is disjointed and kind of herky jerky, and it just, as far as crossover bands goes, no one got it right like The Accused did. I'm sorry. They just don't. Even to this day, The Accused stands to me as the end boss of crossover between hardcore and thrash. They kind of leaned a little bit more into the metal side, but their punk aesthetic was definitely proudly displayed. And Tommy, an amazing riff writer. Blaine, what the perfect compliment to Tommy's riffs. And Blaine is just absolutely maniacal screaming. He just sounds feral the way it just comes unleashed. And you wonder after all these years how he can still do it. You hear him talk. He does like a YouTube channel where he's like he mixes drinks and talk. He kind of has that higher up kind of, he sounds like he's singing, but without the screams. So his voice is kind of matched the way he sings, the way his talking voice is. So I get it now, but man, if you have never heard The Accused, definitely start with this record. Martha Splatterhead's Maddest Stories Ever Told. Another great one is Grinning Like an Undertaker. Another great one is Old Martha. I mean, it's just banger after banger. Great band. And Psychomania. Oh my God, what an opening track. It completely sets the mood for the rest of this album to kick your ass from start to finish. Great. Did I get into any of your Accused stack there, Daryl, or are you good?
Fantastic pick. No, I could not choose a single opener for The Accused. I just blanket love the band so much. I couldn't single out one. So that's not one of our crossovers.
I'll be right back.
But yeah, I agree with Marty, though. Cryptic Slaughter is super close as a second place. But yeah. Going back to my last pick, if people haven't heard this from Sanctuary, that collection where they put together some of the demo stuff that's off of Refuge Denied, it's pretty cool because the version of Battle Angels is totally different. Just Worrell's vocal patterns and stuff are kind of different. So it's cool seeing it. Look how young he was with that super long hair, man. I remember when he came out on stage, he looked like he was about this thin with that hair like down past his belt. I was like, oh my God, this band rules. Anyway, that's just wrapping up Sanctuary from last time. My third pick is one that I can't believe I don't have on vinyl, but I got 2 CD copies of it. But Stand Up and Shout, how can you not? I mean, when we posed the question in the Discord, I was like, I don't think anyone's going to be on this boat with me right away. And Devin was the first one in going, that's one of the best openers ever. And I was like, really? Dude, you're not the person I thought that would jump in first with us.
Great song.
Yeah, fantastic song. And I finally did circle back and see the Lords of Chaos movie. Did you guys finally see it?
Never saw it. I still need to see it.
Okay.
Read the book. But...
It's worth seeing, but it's weird how they take a story like that and they're almost trying to craft a thriller horror movie out of it. It just is weird. But there's a great scene where they're all just partying and like arguing what to put on the turntable. And this comes on and all the old guys in that Norway crew are just headbanging to Stand Up and Shout. It's a great scene. So that's
number. Oh yeah.
Yep. Great track.
Good pick.
Excellent. Mm-hmm.
All right, Jimmy.
All right. I'm going to show some tapes tonight. I know tapes are kind of dumb, but I've got,
they were the way back in the day, man. It was
and
absolutely.
And I've got all my tapes from the 90s when I was in high school. I still have all of the same. You can see my cassette wall back there. But most of the stuff, I don't really buy tapes a whole lot anymore. But this is all stuff from those days, and a lot of them don't play like this one. But somebody was mentioning in the chat, and I got to go with Suffocation's "Effigy of the Forgotten." With opening track Legion of Inveracity.
Oh yeah!
Wow, I remember getting this, in ninth grade, and I was just getting into death metal, and my buddy had told me this is going to be the most brutal stuff if you're getting into death metal. I had just went and bought this, and just instantly was floored with how heavy and technical and just hooky that this album is. And starting it off with a track like Legion of Inveracity, I mean, that was my first exposure ever to Suffocation, and it's a classic Suffocation track with that that classic breakdown toward the end, and but it's still technical and it's not knuckle dragging, I would call it. But in those days, like, they didn't really have slam or anything like that. This is like a whole new thing.
Yep.
And I remember like opening the cassette and looking at the picture of the band and being like, whoa, they got 2 black dudes in there too. How cool is that? Because I had back in those days, like in the 90s, man, it's like there were the metal guys and there were the people the rap people, and the rap people always shit on the metal guys. So like I had friends that were into rap and be like, hey, check this out, man. There's a couple black dudes in this band, man, and they kick ass and they're way better than that shit you listen to. But yeah, so I thought I was cool because of that. Probably not, but yeah, this cassette tape doesn't even play anymore. It's basically just a relic that sits on my shelf as a nostalgic reminder of those days. And but yeah, man, what an excellent album! Still my favorite Suffocation record, and what a way to start an album with Legion of Inveracity. Excellent,
great pick.
Great pick. And there's something to be said. One good thing to be said about tapes. Back in those days, there wasn't a lot of digital recording. I think during that time it was just kind of getting started. But back in the days when they would record, they recorded analog, 4 analog mediums. So vinyl and cassette's an analog medium. And, you can get a really good sound in cassette tape. You really can. There's, some of them are shitty and crappy, and it seems to highlight the shittiness even more. But when an album is produced really well, analog, it sounds great on cassette. But the whole thing with cassettes is they're problematic. They just don't stand the test of time.
Yeah Agreed.
That's another conversation, I suppose. Mm-hmm. We're sitting here, I'm thinking of other things that I could be pulling, so I might jump away here on occasion, which I just did momentarily because this one popped into my head. When I heard this song for the first time, it blew my mind. And even to this day, I'll put this album on and I can't get past the first song. I spin it 5 times in a row, and that would be Sound the Alarm off of Screams and Whispers on the fourth Anacrusis album. Man, prog and metal, I do like it, but they really locked it down on here. The Sound the Alarm song is such an absolute prog masterpiece. It's energetic. Ken Nardi is gifted in the fact that he's got a really awesome singing voice, but his screams, I've said it a million times, it sounds like someone's skinning a cat. It's just absolutely shrill and ear piercing and just so much savagery in his voice. And just the flow and emotion in this track is just really great how they work the keyboards in with that hard hitting, sharp, probably standard E tuning thrash riffs. It's just the perfect combination. Unfortunately, the rest of the album isn't as good as the first song. It's still a great record. I still love the record, but that first song, this is one case where the first track is too good. So the rest of the album has to play catch up, but it's a great record. But this song, Sound the Alarm, if you've never heard Anacrusis before, listen to Sound the Alarm and just be kind of blown away at how great of a perfectly composed, written, everything, the sound of it, it's all perfect. And it really does size up well what, this band kind of started off as a weird, sort of techie, weird thrash band, and they ended up very much leaning into the prog, not losing their thrash roots, but adding prog to their makeup. And great track, great leadoff track.
Nice.
Good pick.
Daryl, right back. I just thought of another one.
Okay. All right. I am going to go to the track that is my favorite opener of any album ever, of any subgenre of metal. And it really just grabs you by the throat. And for the year that it's in is pretty amazing that this is 1978. But the track is later.
Hell yeah.
I think this is when 100% heavy metal begins. I know that's not a line that we can definitively draw anywhere because there is no rule book for it, but I don't think a full heavy metal album, but the track Exciter, maybe the first 100% metal song.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
just what a killer. My favorite Priest album too. Even
Great
the
record.
artwork that some people criticize, I think is perfect for this album.
Oh, I like it.
It's great. Great record.
I always wanted a flag or a tapestry. That was hard to find.
You can have bootleg ones made online. I think there's some companies that'll do it for you, but yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, not too much to say. I mean, just such a killer track and a killer album. And easily just this one grabs your attention. Nothing more.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Great classic pick. Jimmy, what you got?
This one immediately came to mind when you asked me to do this as far as openers go. Another one of my all-time favorite opening tracks of a record that is not really that great, to be honest, but it's okay. But that's Suicidal Tendencies, Lights, Camera, Revolution with You Can't Bring Me Down. And, so this was another discovery from Headbangers Ball because they played You Can't Bring Me Down a lot. Excellent opening track, and it was obviously at this point Suicidal was had already morphed into sort of this thrash, kind of speed metal punk hardcore hybrid. But the best thing about this era of Suicidal Tendencies is Rocky George, the lead guitarist, and You Can't Bring Me Down is he's just all over that thing. Just with his solos are absolutely excellent. Just the intro to the song, that acoustic part. With him just wailing over that kind of whammy bar solo that he does in the beginning, and then just slamming into the song. Perfect song, and killer video as well in those days. The rest of the record, it's okay. I don't know. It's not nearly as good as the opener. There's some good tracks here and there. I mean, Send Me Your Money is kind of dumb, but yeah, man, You Can't Bring Me Down. I just used to jam the hell out of this. I'd listen to the first song and then I'd turn it off and put something else on.
Yeah.
But man, what a good song. And man, I mean, Rocky George, he was just so killer. I love that video. It's got the the Pittsburgh Steelers hat on, and he's just wailing, man.
Yeah.
Killer stuff.
Yep.
All right. Well, this is another one of those albums that the rest of the album isn't quite as good as the opening track, and this is a massive, massive opening track. First time I heard this song, I'm like, oh man, this is a band for me. And that would be Megaton Sword with Blood Hails Steel, Steel Hails Fire. The opening track is the title track, and oh my God, you want to talk about an epic metal anthem. It's just, I can't remember the singer's name. He's got a very unique singing voice. And the way he sings with so much passion the song is completely long. It's completely epic sounding. The guitar melody lines are they feel like a sword through the heart. It's just such a great epic track. And I was playing this one day, our old bass player, Chris, I was driving him home from practice and I had this on. I'm like, God, this is so great. And then he's like, kind of the guy singing reminds me of the guy from Deftones. And I'm like, don't you ruin this for me.
That's
ruin
weird.
this. Yeah, it was weird, but he's got a very typical singing style, very clean. He sings with a lot of soul and heart, and just with the mixed with the music on here, it's just an absolute perfect combination. The rest of the album is very good. It just is not as good as that. So they put their best foot forward on this one. The thing that hurts this band the most is the lead guitar work. The riffing, the songwriting is all good. Their guitar player, when he solos, it's pretty pedestrian. It kind of leaves a lot to be desired. The album after this is a lot more experimental, but I still like it. They're a really great, unique, inventive band in the epic metal realm. So definitely check out Megaton Sword, Blood Hails Steel, Steel Hails Fire, and that lead-off track ought to blow you away. If not, I'm sorry, but yeah, it should. All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for sending that tape to me, by the way.
Yeah,
It's great.
I had it laying around and I had the vinyl. I just recently got a copy of the record. So I'm like, you were mentioning how you were kind of dusting off and getting into collecting tapes again. I'm like, I've got one. I need to send Jimmy a package. I'm going to.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great album. When I first heard it from Callan.
Yep.
And it took me a while, but now I love it. All right. I'm just going to go to another simple one since it's already been talked about. We can kind of talk about Fast as a Shark.
Hell yeah. Great opening track.
That's
Holy shit.
Such a ripper.
Classic. To this day, that song and album holds up.
Yep, it sure does. This is probably my second favorite Accept album. I really do like Breaker. Just something about that album.
I really like Balls to the Wall too. That's
yeah.
good shit on there too.
Yeah, I do too. So yeah, this is just such a great opener.
That really, a lot of people say that is the start of the birth of thrash.
Thrash, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Hail Udo, good stuff.
Hell yeah. Jimmy.
All right, I'm gonna go with Strapping Young Lads City.
That whole album is so good.
Velvet Kevorkian, is that the first track?
I think so.
And it's kind of more of a it's kind of like an intro track. It's not like a full song, but goddamn, does it like really prep you for the madness that's about to come with Velvet Kevorkian. You know, it's just that heavy pummeling. You know, it's got the big Devi choirs. And it's got the cool sounding electron. Devi was like really ahead of the game when it came to like all the electronic sounds. And, you know, at a time where like Fear Factory was a thing and there was a lot of industrial metal coming out, I always felt like he really had a really unique sound with the electronics. And, you know, it's a dense record just in terms of the production of it, but it's one of the, you know, Devin Townsend at his most insane, just unhinged performance, you know, with a lot of the strapping stuff, but this was really the highlight of the strapping albums. And but yeah, just talk about a track that just really just mentally prepares you for the madness to come. And yeah, you know, it would be great. I think the one time I got to see strapping twice, and I think they opened the first time with it. Yeah. And, you know, Devi typically has a killer opening track for most of his stuff, but I think this is, like I said, it's just an example of something that, you know, it's not necessarily indicative of the entire album, but it's preparing you for the entire album. And I think in that way, the opening track on this album really succeeds in that manner.
Said it a lot, but that's like a 45-minute long temper tantrum, and I love it. It's so good. The absolute savage.
Yeah, and you got Hoglin too. So.
Oh yeah, he's a machine. The atomic clock. Yep. All right, we're zipping through these here. Okay. Covered this on the album club, and this is one of those bands where the first 4 albums sound like a different band every time. But we're going to talk about North From Here by Sentence, their second full-length album. They open up with The Sky. My Sky is Darker Than Thine. You want to talk about, their debut album is, finished death metal, a bunch of kids doing death metal. It's good. It's interesting. It's heavy, twisted, good death metal. Here, they completely refined their sound. They ended up a little bit thrashier, maybe a little bit of blackness mixed in with it. They went from kind of sloppy death metal to a very exact and perfect, just the tight palm muted tremolo stuff that they're doing on here. And Jarva's voice is just absolutely searing on here. Very dark and raspy, yet sharp. He really does, it's not the death growls anymore. There's a little bit more mid range to his screaming, and you can kind of understand what he's saying too, which he changes on the next album where he goes a little bit more Carl McCoy from Fields of the Nephilim. But on here, this is an absolute great. You want to talk about really dark, weird finished harmony or melody lines all over this record. It's just a very urgent sounding record. It's very dark and atmospheric. There's just a lot going on here, and definitely worth a checking it out. But my sky is darker than thine. Absolute. Another one of those hair in the back of your neck standing up. It's just savage and really sets up the album nicely.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, we are flying through this stack, maybe a third of the way. All right, this is what I thought Marty was going to go to right out of the gate. So I'll, back it up and be the one to show a little Kiss. Do you have Kiss in your
I didn't pick any, no. I didn't.
Okay, because this is where I thought you were going with Deuce right out of the gate.
Oh, that's a great opener. They still open.
You ever bought.
Yeah.
I thought you were going there, but if I were asked that question, which I guess I am, it would be I Stole Your Love.
Oh, yeah.
Love Gun.
Yep.
Yeah. My origin story, and just such a kick-ass opener. Just the intensity of it. And spun this today. Haven't spun it in a while. And the best thing is just Kiss lyrics. Oh, my God. Kiss lyrics. There's nothing like them. It's like at times they're swinging for the fence, like there are no boundaries, we'll break all the rules, and then they'll suddenly throw in like a PG reference, and it's just so weird. They're lyrically, like especially Love Gun. with the classic lyric, I'm a gambler, baby, lay down the bet, we get together. You got 4 syllables to work with. What would most of us do? Not what Paul did.
No.
Mama, you'll sweat.
He thought he was probably being so clever. A lot of the Paul lyrics you read, you're like, he thinks he's so clever.
Yeah, he does. That's always been my favorite. Mama, you'll sweat.
I feel your face inside the mirror.
yeah.
Oh my God.
So, but it helps me nowadays, because sometimes on Album Club we're like, those lyrics are so bad, and I was like, but I grew up with Kiss. It's all good.
It's a pass, because it's ingrained in my DNA, my childhood. Yeah. Just glad my parents never took that shit away from me.
Yeah, same here.
All right, Jimmy.
Let's see.
Hey, Ian, thank you so much for the super chat too, man. We appreciate you. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well over there in the UK.
All right. Yeah, I'll go with this one since Logan called it out. You might have picked this one too, Marty, but just remember, like an ever-flowing stream with Override of the Overture.
What a great Great song.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, it's just an iconic. Did you pick it too, Daryl? Yeah.
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 It's
Best
such an
death metal
iconic.
opener ever.
It's a 3 for a hat trick.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. One's got the vinyl, one's got the CD, one's got the tape.
Well, I got the CD too. Oh yeah, we got all 3 mediums covered. Nice.
Yeah.
If it was on 8-track, we had a 4th guy. He'd have had that fucker too.
Yeah, I mean, iconic Swedish death metal song. I mean, that melody is just, it's the first thing you think of when you think of Swedish death metal is, that opening riff. Funny story about this cassette tape, but this is from way back in the day. And I had lost the insert for it. I just had the tape for the longest time. And
That's the worst feeling. It just makes you want to throw the whole thing away. Damn it.
I almost did. And then I just happened to be looking on eBay one day, and I found somebody selling just the insert.
It's probably yours. The fucker probably stole it.
Could be. Could be. I mean, who knows? In those days, I did pretty good on keeping most of my stuff, but there's a lot of tapes that I lost as well, and shit like this, just losing covers and misplacing things. But I found the insert and made my cassette collection very happy. So. But I mean, what are you gonna say, man? It's iconic, just killer. One of the best openers as far as like death metal records in those days. Very easy to just kind of draw you in, and just that trademark Swedish sound from these guys. I always loved Matty's like really throaty death metal vocals,
and he still sounds great. He hasn't changed. It sounds great.
Yeah, I just saw them. Well, I saw them at MDF last year, and which was huge for me because this was such a huge band for me in those days. Love all the Dismember stuff. And I love how just like not perfect this album is too. It's really, you can tell these are kids just getting it together. It kind of, it almost sounds like it almost could like, the train almost goes off the tracks a bit, and then they managed to keep it on. And I love that, just that early spirit of these young guys, just banging this stuff out, really creating an iconic record. So, yep.
Well, I'll follow you up with another classic from the same country. Let's get this out of the way. Entombed's Left Hand Path with the opening track, Left Hand Path. I want to talk about another great opening track. Starts off fast and brutal, and in the middle, when they slow down and just really kind of lay out that really slow guitar melody line, which is hearing it tuned so low, and it just makes it just sound so much more vital with that down tune sloppiness in the string. That gives us, that how they really master that HM2 sound so well. Well, I guess it'd be Thomas Skogsberg that probably he captured it, seeing what they record on that old PV Bandit or Pacer or whatever the hell amp they used, that back in the day, I remember those being junk. I don't know. We had a PV dealer in town and always wanted bigger. I wanted a bigger amp. I didn't want this crappy little PV amp. But anyway, they, Entomb proved us all wrong with that, thick as a bison guitar tone. But what an absolute great song, and how the song ends, it just leaves you hanging and wanting the rest of the album. And this whole album delivers from start to finish. And, it's funny. There was always, Dismember always got shit for sounding like an Entomb clone, but they really don't. They kind of, same studio, same guitar tone, sort of, but I think Dismember were a bit more razor sharp in their guitar work and their riffing as far as the style, a lot more tremolo riffs. It'd be really hard for me if we were doing a keep or reap thing. We might be going on and on for an hour, me trying to figure out which one of these to get rid of, because, it used to be this, I would keep this forever, but as the years go by, there's just no denying how great this album is. And they do sound different from each other, even though there's some similarities, of course. They definitely both have their own unique style, even though they're kind of using the same techniques as far as gear, and producers and all that stuff. But absolutely two great bands with two great opening tracks for two great albums. So, all right. Sure. Daryl.
I'm right with you on the keep or reap too. I would have always been Left Hand Path, but the last decade it'd be Dismember. All right, next one is going to be a shout out to our community for turning me on to this band. Just having it in my collection for 3 months. This has become one of my favorite openers I put on this album. It just makes me smile. Killer. I've seen this album cover, but no one really talked about it until Mike V and Frank, if either of the gentlemen are out there. But Flight of the Griffin. Oops, let me try this. From Griffin. And it opens with the track Hawk the Slayer, with that spoken word piece that just comes in triumphantly, and then that really soft bass comes in that sounds like Steve Harrison, old Iron Maiden song, and then rips into that track. So this album's so good. This came with their first and second album. They're both remastered. And then there's a remixed version of their second album is the third disc. But I don't know, that opener rules. So, I mean, I kind of hear them as somewhere between Riot and Iron Maiden. But fantastic band.
All right. Hey, chat. It's good to see everybody tonight. Thanks for joining us. Good to see everybody in. Jimmy.
Cool, Daryl. Yeah, I need to check that out. I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. Let me do a little bit of Voivod. Outer Limits. Fix My Heart is this is probably my favorite Voivod record. I just, anytime, I'm not like the biggest Voivod fan. I like a lot of albums. Some albums I don't like so much. I really like where they've gone recently with Chewy in the band. But as far as like, the Piggy stuff, this is the best one for me. And I often tell people that never heard Voivod, if you're going to try to get into them, this is a good one to start with because it's a little bit more accessible, a little bit easier on the ears than some of their more weirder stuff. But yeah, I mean, Fix My Heart is a great intro song to this album. It just introduces you to I love the sound on this thing, just the sonics, the way that Piggy plays on this. He just really shines on this opening track. It's just a total earworm of a song, as is a lot of the songs on this album, and really has one of my favorites, Jack Luminous, just an epic, awesome, just journey of a Voivod song that just goes all over the place and just works so well. But Fix My Heart is a song that really, it's just a great catchy Voivod song. It prepares you for the rest of the record. And I think the rest of the record is as good as the first song here. But yeah, the only thing I would really don't love about this album is the Pink Floyd cover. I feel like, I don't know, it fits in the album, but I don't know. I would have been happier if they would have just put it at the end or something. The Nile song, I don't know, just wasn't for me. But other than that, yeah, excellent record, great start as well with Fix My Heart.
That for me is where they started to fix things because I at the time hated Angel Rat. Now I like it, but as I've grown a little bit more mature but I didn't want rock and prog and that far involved in my Voivod, even though it was always kind of prog was always a thing for them. But that album was like, oh, hey, they're back on track. They're like that Jack Luminous song. What a great, weird, twisting song. It's awesome. Yeah. Really good. All right. Well, I'm going to stick with the death metal here for another minute. Since Simon's in the chat, don't want to scare him away. Yeah, I was a big fan of Asphyx, the Rack, and that whole era with Van Drunen on vocals. But once I heard Consuming Impulse, I liked Malleus Maleficarum a lot, but that was more of a thrashy record with death metal overtones. This year, they went just completely sick. And then on Dehydrated, is there a better representation of Van Drunen's vocals? I don't know. He sounds dehydrated and miserable. The way he's singing, he's just absolutely dry and cracking, like he's just hasn't seen water in a month. It's just yeah, I mean, everybody used to laugh at this cover, but now I look at it and it's just such a representation of what lurks within. I'm fine with the cover. I see this cover, I know what's inside, and it's from start to finish, just absolutely devastating. And Van Drunen, when he was playing bass and singing, just, I don't know, man, his voice is still great, but it was just this level of sickness that just really cut through on this stuff. Perfect union. Mameli did okay when he left, and In Testimony of the Ancients, it was good, but it was missing Van Drunen. But yeah, Dehydrated, an amazing opening track. It sets up perfectly what's to come on here. Just absolutely just knuckle dragging, rough, interesting European death metal. Love it.
So good.
Yeah, fantastic album. And that's actually the secondary artwork, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
That one with the bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they reissued the album since then with that old artwork.
Yeah.
TJ has it.
I think that's worse. I'd take the ants.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
All right.
I saw his fix in MDF this last year, and Van Drunen sounded just as good as he ever has.
Yeah, he hasn't lost a step for sure.
Awesome. All right, next one on my pile is my favorite, maybe second favorite thrash album opener, Darkness Descends. Just another one that just grabs you by the throat. My high school metalhead that I spoke of earlier, he was like, I want a thrash recommendation. I think it was one of the holidays during spring break, and I was like, this is your go-to. If you've at least tried the, Metallica and Slayer and whatnot, give this a listen. And he started playing the first track, the title track, in class, and he's like, it sounds just like Metallica's One. I don't like it. And I was like, dude, be patient. I just lost half a song, he's turning off. I'm like, no, be patient. It's kid. Yeah, so anyway, I love this album beginning to end, but one of my favorite thrash openers. I would actually choose that over Angel of Death to put on a mixtape to open a thrash. Just give me a great headbang mixtape. I'd go to this one.
Great pick.
Good to see they're back and releasing a new record, and they're touring a lot too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this one I didn't actually pick this one until right before the show, and I told my wife that I would show this one. She was asking me what we were going to be talking about, and she was like, "Oh, you know what? The first thing she thought of was this album. This one will probably get a few groans, but she's right. Hadn't even thought about it in a while." And Dimmu Borgir's Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia.
It's a good album.
And it starts with Fear and Wonder, which is like this just crazy, awesome symphonic track. It sounds authentic as a symphony. And then it just bursts out with Blessings Upon the Throne of Tyranny, which, this was kind of a gateway album for me. In those days, I wasn't really into black metal yet because I thought it all sounded like shit. And then I heard this and I was like, whoa, that actually sounds good. Obviously this is uber produced, triggered, massive layering, and but it really was a good gateway for me because there is obviously Dimmu Borgir started as a pretty guess you could say like second wave Norwegian black metal, and kind of morphed into this kind of bigger, more obviously black metal, but more of a modern metal kind of thing that was kind of crossing over to, appealing to people that aren't necessarily like me into black metal. But at the time, this was really just opened my eyes, and I started to think, okay, maybe not that anything I got into really sounded anything like this, but again, it opened the doors, and man, it's an excellent album, even if it's, it's not true. It's obviously, big production and appealing to big audience, trying to be mainstream somewhat. But man, you can't deny Nick Barker's drum performance on this thing. It's absolutely amazing. Kind of a super group. Having Vortex in there doing the clean vocals, I always thought that added a great element. I think this was a good time for the band. This sound kind of wore off pretty quickly for me past this album. But even though I like some of those records, this was the one. And, my wife, she doesn't really like a whole lot of metal. But every now and then something comes along and she like really digs it. She was like, oh, we were just listening to it right before I came on. And she's like, oh, I love this record. I haven't heard it in so long. And yeah, we listened to those first two tracks. Really, the whole first two tracks sounds like one thing. You got the symphonic thing kind of leading into the big blasting opener. But killer riffs too, man. Just awesome riffing. Should never sleep on this album. But
the stuff leading up to it's really good too. Really, I mean,
which one?
The stuff leading up to that album is all good too. Enthroned Darkness Triumphant's really good. Stormblast, of course, for all tid.
Stormblast, great.
Was it Spiritual Black Dimensions? That's pretty good too.
That was the one before this. Yeah, that was the first one. They had Vortex doing some stuff, and he did. I think he was just a guest at that point, and then he joined.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, good stuff, man. And good. Hey, all your wives might dig this. So.
Mine wouldn't.
No.
If it was Duran Duran, it'd be a different situation. Yeah.
Duran Duran's cool too.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Well, it's release day, so we have to have something, related to Helloween up here next, because we're gonna keep the people drinking. But this is the 4th album by Gamma Ray, called Land of the Free. The leadoff track is Rebellion in Dreamland. Now, this album is special for the fact that the first 3 albums by Gamma Ray had Ralph Sheepers on vocals, who went on to be in Primal Fear. Some good records there too, but completely different singer than Kai. And hearing Kai returning to the mic for this album was something special, because that's really what the people wanted. You know what I mean? And this Rebellion in Dreamland is kind of a long, kind of epic, triumphant sounding track. And it isn't really something you would, Man on a Mission is the one that follows it, is the fast power metal ripper, which would have been a really smart opening track as well. But Rebellion in Dreamland is more of a build to it. And again, it's very triumphant sounding. The singing, it's great just to hear Kai back on the mic again. And the music, it's just more in line with the true Helloween spirit. I've said before, this could have been Keepers Part 3. This album is fantastic, and from start to finish. And it's long, but it's worth it. It's worth it. The payoff is great when you hit to the end. But Rebellion in Dreamland, I think they even put out a video for it, which is kind of weird, because it's not really a single type of song. But for setting up an album that is so filled with so many dynamics and twists and turns and stuff, it's a great opener for this amazing album. Rebellion in Dreamland, great song.
Oh yeah,
excellent. Yeah. Great song. All right. Well, Jimmy was brave in his pick. Not that I would give him any crap. I love those first Jimmy Borgir albums. But yeah, here's one the chat might give me some crap on, though. But I absolutely love this opener. Sinister Double off the Malice album. Oh, I love it. Love it so much.
I had a buddy that was into that band, and I never really checked him out.
Really?
Yeah.
This I like the debut too, but this album is good. There's one song that might be a dud, but definitely a harder edge than you would think seeing those pictures. Definitely
Yeah.
kind of almost an Infernal Majesty thing going on. Not that they're that heavy, but that they look super glammy, and they're not. But yeah, Sinister Double is the opening track. Thing rips. I remember seeing this album cover all the time when I was younger, and I always thought they were way hair metal. And Dennis said what a great album this was, and I just happened to run into it used in my local store a few days after that. Picked it up, and I was like, "Damn, Dennis, you were right. This album rules."
Yeah, Dennis knows his nose is shit for sure.
Yeah, he does. I love this album. Yeah, so. Beauty.
What was the movie that those guys were in, Malice? There was a 80s movie, I feel like do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that doesn't ring a bell for me.
It was that movie that God, I don't remember the name of the actor, but it was one of those movies where it was like a father and son, and they like swapped they were each other in each other's body. Like
was it Kirk Cameron? And
yes,
Dudley Moore
so.
And Dudley.
Oh,
yeah, what was that called? Vice versa?
That might be it.
What a weird movie to have Malice in.
Yeah. I had no. Yeah. I think that's right for the movie, but I had no idea about Malice.
The name of the actor is Judge something. You'd recognize
Judge Reinhold from.
Is it Judge Reinhold?
Yeah, from Beverly Hills Cop.
Yes, him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing the movie poster in my head.
Yeah, he's like, so the kid is in his body, and he wants to go see the Malice show, and he goes and he meets the band, and he's got a poster, and they signed it. It says "Party till you puke, love Malice" kind of thing.
That's awesome. I'm gonna seek this out tomorrow. Good stuff.
Little 80s nostalgia for you there.
There you go.
Okay. I got a lot of death metal on my list tonight, but man, this is for me one of the most just bass ripping intro songs to a record, and that's Angel Corpse's the Inexorable.
Oh yeah,
with Storm Gods Unbound. Oh my God, I remember in the days, like, I guess it was, I can't believe this album is 26 years old, because this was like 99 this came out on Osmos, and wow, it's just, because it still feels kind of new and fresh to me. But yeah, I mean, like, remember the days, like, and it's probably still the case now, but like when you get cable TV, like they used to have like all the music channels that you get it for free along with your cable package, and every channel was like a different genre of music. Well, they had the metal channel, and I'd just have that on. I would discover new stuff on there as well. I think this was like maybe after the days when Metal Maniacs was over with, and that was like where I really was discovering a lot of stuff. I didn't move on to any of the other magazines, so I'd have that channel on, and Storm Gods Unbound came blasting out. I was like, holy shit, that's just a vicious start to a great death metal record.
They're a great band live too. They just absolutely devastated.
And I wish this band was still around. I mean, I really like what Gene's new band, Perdition Temple, they're killer as well. But it's just something about
there's Ares Kingdom too. Guys went on to do Ares Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Ares Kingdom. Is that Pete? Is he in that?
Oh, no way. Ares Kingdom was Chuck Keller from Order from Chaos. I got that mixed up.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw Perdition Temple at MDF last year. They were excellent, really cool 3-piece. Definitely the Angel Corpse spirit, just with Gene doing the vocals now, and I think that's kind of what he's doing with the band. If you listen to the music, it's very Angel Corpse, but there's something about Pete Humcap. He was just excellent vocalist, scathing on this thing. All the Angel Corpse records were great. Really, the last one wasn't all that good. It was kind of a letdown for me, unfortunately. I remember when they announced Of Lucifer and Lightning, I was like, holy crap, that sounds amazing. And then I put the album on, and it was just felt like something was lost. It wasn't as good.
I wish I kept that, because I often wonder if it was as bad as I remember it being, and I go to revisit it. I'm like, oh, that's right, I got rid of it. Yeah.
I probably need to revisit it as well. I think it was at the time when it came out. I just wasn't into it. But this was just like a powerhouse lineup too, with Loriano on drums. Absolutely amazing, killer drumming, and just scathing Mormon Angel style black metal, lightning fast, speed black death metal. Absolutely amazing opening track, though. I mean, if you don't like that song, man, you're not going to be in this band. But it really just, the rest of the record is as good as the first song, but it's just comes right out the bat, just bashes you in the face.
Right on. Well, I'm going to pick another track that may be kind of an unassuming good opening track here. Daryl's wearing a shirt for this band. Enslaved's Eld. I love this. This is my favorite Enslaved album, and they start off with 793, the Battle of Lindisfarne. Oh yeah, complete, utter battery worship. They got the acoustic guitar going on here, that loping Viking, like you're on a long ship sailing across the sea to conquer. It just has that vibe to it, and Grudela's voice, he does that shouty kind of triumphant singing style, clean style. And then of course he goes into the grim. His voice is just absolutely sick. Always has been. But yeah, this album just really sets this album off nice. And it really mirrors the cover art too. Just, him in the full, Viking regalia and the carved out throne he's sitting on. It just completely put me in mind of like Hammerheart or Blood on Ice. It just has that same vibe. You can tell it's kind of a tribute to Korthon in a way. And it's just a very atmospheric, beautiful way to start this album off. Because as the album goes, it gets very, becomes very Norwegian black metal sounding in the Enslaved way. But always super impressed by this album. And their one-time drummer, Harold Helgeson, He's a one and done drummer for this band. I love the way his drums are produced, really tight sounding and really kind of loud in the mix. Very expressive fills, and they almost sound like kettle drum or like, drums of war sometimes on some of these songs. And this is just a great era for the band. One of my favorites. I like them up. Issa is another favorite. Rune is another one. After that, they kind of start to lose me. They start to get a little too proggy for me, but still a good band. But that song, wow, what an opening track. It kind of goes like with Rebellion in Dreamland, that slow build, epic kind of track to start the album off. It's not what you would think, but it works so very well. It would have been weird having that later in the album. It would have been a good closing track too, actually. That would have been a good way to leave people as well. But I'm rambling. Sorry. Daryl.
Great pick. I was going to pick that album for tonight. I thought it was going to come from Jimmy, but I thought one of you guys would have it. My next one, I'm going to go traditional metal and a more modern band. This one, just the ripper out of the gate for the new Riot City, Eye of the Jaguar. Oh my God, the vocals on that, because I was a fan. I had the first album, and I loved the vocals on that, which was the other guy in the band. I don't know names without looking, but I think one of the guitarists did the vocals on the first album, Burn the City. And this is, they got a vocalist for this, and his vocals are just, it's like, tone it back a little, brother. But then it grew on me over time, and I just kind of figured this type of intense metal that's taking all these twists and turns, you almost need a vocalist of that style that can take those radical twists and turns with the music. But just when it gets to the vocals and he sings the line, Eye of the Jaguar, I actually hurt my throat driving around singing that the other day. It's like, oh my gosh, it took me 2 days to get the pain out of my throat. It's not a vocalist, or at least this style of metal, but he can do it well. This album rules. So, yeah, Riot City.
Right on.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those bands I've neglected to pick up. I've checked that album out, and it's great. Has not entered my collection yet.
Have you heard the debut?
I've only heard that one, parts of that
okay.
one on Spotify. It popped up in, if you're listening to this, check this out. So I threw it on with the kid one day. He liked it, but my kid he said, there's something about these newer bands trying to sound old. It just isn't the same, is it? I'm like, no, it really isn't. You're kind of right. It's still good. He's like, yeah, it's definitely good, but he's not wrong.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Jimmy, what you got?
I don't have too much black metal on my list tonight because I just grabbed so many classic albums, mostly like, just heavy metal, thrash, and death metal. But one of the black metal records I did come to mind for this subject was Ulver's Bergtat.
Oh, you bastard.
Thought about it.
I thought maybe at least one of you might pick this because, yeah, Capital One. I mean, it's just like as soon as you press play and listen and start listening to that track, the melodies come in, and then Garm's just ethereal, clean vocals kind of took me by surprise the first time I heard it. But you just instantly you're just swept away to the Norwegian fjords and the mountains, and
100%.
you can almost like taste the air, and feel the coolness hitting your face, and just the epic vastness of the Norwegian wilderness just comes to mind instantly right off the bat with this record, with the first track. It's a classic, just I would say song that really influenced a lot of bands. Agalak is one that comes to mind, but a lot of American bands too that came along doing the more atmospheric kind of stuff, and everybody has something owed to Ulver, the trilogy, the first three records, but definitely my favorite of the three, and because it's really just a nice blend of what they did with the next two records, which they had Veltsanger, the more acoustic, and then Nutton's Madrigal, which is just scathing scathing black metal.
Yeah.
But this one's kind of it's a good balance of the two. I feel like there's got the atmospherics, but there's also some of the black metal in there as well. Yeah, Capital One, man, it's just really just instantly draws you into their world, and I love that.
The whole album starts with that reverb soaked drum build, and then it all comes in. It's just like, yep, I'm in the woods.
Yeah,
Windswept woods. Yep, love it. Absolutely beautiful track. Great album. All right, well, whatever leadoff track you have in your pile, you might as well throw them all away because it's not as good as this one. And that would be off of the album, their debut album, Chemical Exposure by Sadist, Certain Death. Oh my God. You want to talk about the absolute, like you're falling into the buzzsaw type of song. Absolute teeth grit the whole time. The song in the whole album is that way, but that they couldn't have picked a better 4 minutes and 12 seconds of, slicing you up basically. And, the fact that they're playing so fast, they sound so raw, yet that those little bass flourishes that DiGorgio does is cuts through that, which is such a nice, tasty, thing that gave their sound that unique flair. Everybody talks about DiGorgio and death. I mean, DiGorgio ruled in Autopsy. He ruled in Sadist. He's a great bass player. And the more fierce and weird and pummeling the music is, he really found a place for himself in it, which is rare for a bass player. I'm sorry. And, he'd use that fretless, or he'd use the Rickenbacker, where all that stuff just cuts through this is very staticky and violent sounding, but man, Certain Death, what an absolutely urgent, you're burning on fire type of song. I love it. It's one of the best US thrash bands, one of the best thrash albums ever that people just don't talk about that often, but yep. Certain Death, killer. If you've not heard it, listen to it and have your face ripped off. It's awesome.
Fantastic album. Love it. Side note, Certain Death was my high school metal band. We had two of us that played instruments, two of us that just dreamt, but we had our band name and our logo, baby.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Death, and it came from me.
Yep.
But I actually got it from the Slayer song At Dawn They Sleep.
Oh, right on.
The one lyric says, "Stand up and hold fast to your faith. To lie dormant is certain death." That's where I took it from. But
nice.
We had sweet shirts.
You had shirts before you had them. Holy shit. You had the cart before the horse.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. This is the other one I thought Marty would pick. But you're
going to show the sorceress. The sorceress. I just saw a clip of your glimpse.
I saw it too.
Yeah.
What a great
song. When I first came to this community, all of the guys here were like, "Oh, this album above everything." You guys even had your own Keep or Reap show based around this album for the one episode. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No one's taken my Don't Break the Oath. Here, have my Guardian. But over time, because I respect and love all you guys, I kept going back to it. I was like, this album is magical.
It's mystical. It's a completely mystical album.
Yeah. But what an opener. I mean, it just sets the stage for what the album will
Guardian
be.
And Exodus, those are tearjerker songs, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, just the fury with the emotion.
Yeah.
And the musicality. I mean, it just sets in motion everything. I love it now. I mean, I've always loved it, but I just didn't have it on that super high pedestal like you guys. But yeah, I might be wrong. Good stuff.
Oh, magic. Are you familiar with that one, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, I am. I think Fate's Warning is not for me. I've tried. Well, I've got a couple of Fate's Warning albums that I do like, but that one has not. It has not grabbed me yet.
Knowing how into atmospheric music you are, I think someday when you're not knowing what to play, throw that on and give it. When you're on a hike, put it in the earphones and go for a walk and listen to that record. I think it might change your perspective a bit.
Yeah, I really need to kind of really just sit down with it again, because I mean I've listened to the album probably 3 times, and maybe they were, because I've everybody on this in this community talks about this record, and and I always feel like I'm the odd man out for some reason with that one. I like I think I've got 2 other ones, Parallels and Perfect Symmetry. One of them I really like, the other one I don't like at all.
Although that's the Alder era, and they got
I can't
way
remember which one
proggy.
is which.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a whole different, kind of era. And that's like one that even today, it's kind of hard to find a good copy of it. Like, I think they had done a press like a few years back, and nowadays, like, I mean, I'm sure if I really searched for it, I could probably find a good copy pretty easily, but I'm always just like, it's one of those albums that I'm on the lookout for all the time. Like when I'm at the record store thinking, if I find it like, used or whatever, I'll definitely pick it up, and I never ever see it ever. It's weird. It's like, it's almost like if it wasn't for this community, I probably would have never even known about that album.
Yeah.
But yeah, admittedly, it's one that I have not sat with enough, and I'm not like the biggest, and I don't know if this would really fit into, the sort of like the classic heavy metal kind of stuff. It's not, which is like that kind of stuff I usually don't go for like really hard, but I've been surprised before for sure. And other than like classic stuff, the stuff that's like, like Ozzy and things like that. But not that you would really say that it was like in the same category, but for sure, I will take your recommendation. I need to get back on that one and see where I'm at with it.
I mean, John Arch's voice is beautiful, but the way he crams so many words into a line it takes a minute to wrap your head around it, and a lot of people don't like that. So I get it, but yeah, it's a pretty mystical album. I think the right environment, I think you might have a little bit different perspective on it. We'll see though. I'll keep my eyes peeled. I've got a couple different versions of it, but none of which I really want to get rid of. So I'll keep my eyes open.
Yeah, sure.
I just stumbled across the 2 CD DVD.
That's one I'm thinking I could give that to Jimmy, but I'm like, I don't want. It's got the DVD with it.
Yeah, the DVD is so good, but I just found that used like $10. I was like, what? You're coming home with me?
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
Yeah.
If you find just a regular CD copy, it's got my name on it. So anybody out there? So I'll even trade you.
There you go.
I tried to figure. I got to throw in a King album. I mean, I got to figure what's King Diamond or
you bastard.
Well, maybe this isn't the one.
It's going to be the one I picked. I know it is.
I think it is. I mean, I actually struggled with either. I was going to go with The Eye because I just love with the first track on there. But come on, man. Yeah,
you bastard.
I mean.
I mean, Welcome Home. Come on, what a riff! So good,
just absolutely amazing. And of course,
Mickey
we're
D.
not, got a little bit of an intro track, but it's sets the mood and the tone. But there's nothing like that intro, that drum fill by Mickey D. It's just iconic. And there's a video of him like maybe a few years ago on Instagram, and he breaks down that fill, and it's just. And he just does it so effortlessly. And I'm a former drummer, and I could never nail down that lick. It's so perfect. And every time I watch him do it, he does it so fast. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
right there. It's like it's weird, it's a weird like tom and drum kind of like just triply type thing. But the way he rolls it, I don't know. It's just so cool. And I've never, because a lot of those type of fills, like a lot of bands, like you end up hearing a lot of drummers do that kind of stuff, right? Like those big triplet type fills, with the tom-toms and the bass drums, or like double bass and toms. But I don't know, his, like, I've never heard anybody really quite replicate the way he does that. And that's like, for me, like, yeah.
I think I saw an interview with him where he was talking about that fill where he was at the drums and he played it. And he's like, yeah, it was like a warm-up thing he did. And he did it one day at practice, and someone in King might say, well, wait, what is that? What is that? And he's like, oh, that's just this thing. Like, oh, let's use that. So
brilliant.
It seems like it's one of those, like, that was his warm up, just farting around. And it's like, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's on par with the Painkiller intro,
Yeah.
I mean, like just that little intro, it just does it for me. Just like that first few seconds of it. But of course, absolutely. Oh, and I will say Matt Thompson, the drummer, he can do it too. For the King Diamond band.
You're gonna have to. if you're gonna play the song, you better. That's one you got to stick. You got to stick
Yep,
that landing. Yeah,
you got to nail it. And he nails it. Saw him do it a year ago. But yeah, I mean, amazing opening track, just iconic, completely iconic song.
Oh yeah, great album.
King is just, I mean, the freaking song made it into the freaking Clerks movie, whatever, Clerks 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
That was a funny little tidbit on that. But yeah, I mean, what can you say, man? It's iconic. It's one of the greatest openers of any of the King Diamond era stuff. And when we're talking about, a band and or a musician who's had many, many great openers of all of his albums. So great.
Yeah, good pick. 100%. All right. Well, I should be getting money from the Holy Terror estate too, for as much as we talk about this record. But this is another one of those cassettes I bought at Camelot Music. Got out into my old 1979 Blazer and threw it in the tape deck, and the opening seconds of Judas Reward. Ugh. Again, goosebumps everywhere. I'm just like, couldn't believe what I was listening to. And this music is teetering on the brink of collapse because it's going so fast, and yet they still maintain a melodic sense to the riff work and the songwriting. But the true champion of this is vocalist Keith Dean, rest in peace. He just had a way of, his screaming style was really good and unique, but he could also sing in pitch very well. He was a good singer, and how he would just come out of a scream and throw like this weird melodic line in just at the right time. Always very inspiring. How he could find, a place to put such a melodic flourish in, such a maelstrom of speed and coked out aggression. Just absolutely. This album, I know Alan prefers the debut a bit more, which I love that record too, but this thing, they went over the edge. It just went completely fast, yet never losing sight of melody. And they had the singer that could fit any sort of, mood they threw at him. But yeah, Judas Reward, the beginning track of an amazing 10 out of 10 record for me.
Another underrated drummer too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right.
Fantastic picks, guys. Love both of those. Yeah, I was thinking of Jay and Silent Bob in my head when you first showed.
Yeah, they ruined it.
I could just picture Grandma. All right. Speaking of King vocals, let's go to
you bastards.
I'm gonna show it in every single video I do. That's my goal. Somehow this album will come up. It's like your Helloween.
Yep.
I'll find a way.
Well, this album is perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, it is.
It's evil.
It is.
It's truly evil. Heavy metal.
And like you've said, the sound of this one is magical too. Before
totally
was, for the Dallas sound or everything else. But I like the fact too that I think his voice had more diversity before the concept albums, because then it became more, I'm doing voices. I mean, maybe that's a trivial thing, but I think when there were just traditional songs, collection of songs, we saw more diversity in King's voice. But yeah, this is just the best ever. Rules. Yeah.
That early stuff too, he spent a lot of time in his mid-range, but then when you kick into the falsetto, it just added this evil, later on he started to get more into the falsetto, but I really like the mid-range, register of his voice too. It's kind of soulful. It's got, there's a narration quality to it. And I don't know. It just, that to me is a creepy, to this day, it's still a creepy record. That and the debut are just completely, everybody talks about evil death metal and evil black metal. I mean, that shit, pound for pound, that Don't Break the Oath is, you got songs like The Oath, that whole prayer at the beginning, and God, just the whole thing. Even To One Far Away, that creepy little acoustic thing just before Come to the Sabbath. It just, it feels like an 80s cult horror movie. It's just, they nailed it. They nailed it.
Agreed.
Yeah, and they kept releasing awesome stuff too, man. I like all the Merciful Fate stuff, even like the later stuff. Time.
Yeah,
Time is
I
awesome.
do too.
Yeah,
I'm like 9.
9 is great.
Yeah.
I love Time. That's a great record too.
Yeah, I love Time too. I think
Yeah.
Into the Unknown is the only one that's a wee bit shaky to me.
Still has some good riffs on it, but yeah. It's Dead Again is my least favorite.
Okay.
I didn't like the song Dead Again. He was a little too
Banshee.
taking it a little too King Diamond. When he was running King Diamond and Merciful Fate at the same time, I think both bands kind of suffered a little bit. There's still good shit in both bands, but he was spreading himself a bit thin, I think, because he is a key songwriter. I mean, everybody thinks he just sings. He doesn't. He writes a lot of that stuff. He plays guitar. So,
yeah.
All right,
Yep.
Jimmy.
All right. My next couple are going to be some oddballs. And I call them oddballs just because these are bands that I never really see discussed on Metallurgy, and it might be because they're just not big fans of these guys. But this is the one that goes back to like the late 90s, like when there was that lull in metal for a little while there at the end of the 90s, and then it kind of came back with a force. And what really kind of brought me back into the fold was some of the stuff that was happening in Sweden. A lot of the melodic death metal stuff, like Dark Tranquility and In Flames and things of that ilk. But one record that I feel like has always gone under the radar, I feel like this is an incredibly underrated album, is Soilwork's The Chain Heart Machine. Now, Soilwork was, they obviously became a band. This was out of the Gothenburg scene, melodic death metal or melodic thrash death metal, whatever you want to call it. But this band came out during that era, and they quickly got pretty big. And after their first 2 albums, they kind of turned into a little bit more of a commercial kind of, modern metal type band. But these 2 albums, man, the first 2 albums are not that whatsoever. This album is vicious. This album is fast, speed, melodic thrash metal. Razor sharp riffing, but melodic. Really awesome. And you could think kind of like if you took At the Gates, Slaughter the Soul, and kind of just pumped it up a few notches. You got the Chain Heart Machine. It is not like, after the 3rd record, the one after this, they really started to embrace that more kind of just poppy kind of sensibility in their music, because Bjorn was a great singer. He had a great clean vocal. He wasn't even doing clean vocals yet on this, man. He's just vicious on this thing. So if you like, just a banger of a Gothenburg melodic death metal record, and you like all that stuff, like this doesn't sound like Dark Tranquility or In Flames or anything that those guys all were doing. It's kind of birthed in the same town, the same sort of scene at the time. But man, this is extreme. This isn't, I like later Soilwork. I just thought, they were good songwriters. They wrote catchy stuff, earworms. But man, this one, totally underrated. And kicking it off with the title track, The Chain Heart Machine. It's just that big, crazy, alarm sounding synth thing that they start off with, and it just busts right into the D beat kind of just chops. We used to call it as drummers, the D beat chops, and just razor sharp riffing, really, really fast, really melodic, just cool, killer solos, catchy, awesome stuff. Highly underrated. Check it out if that sounds good to you, man, because this was slept on quite a bit in those days.
I remember getting that as a promo back in the day, and it sat in a box, the Get the Hell Out of My House box, and people come over to have some beers, and when they leave, I'm like, take some CDs when you go. That was in the pile. One of my friends ended up with that one.
Go back to it, man. It rules.
Yeah. I kind of regret a lot of that. I missed out on a lot of things and shit I used to think I owned, and then looking like, oh yeah, that was one I got rid of.
I bet you go listen to this, you'd be like, wow, maybe I shouldn't have given this one away. It rules.
I'll try it.
Oh, it's me. Hi, Daryl.
Hey,
all right. Well, a lot of talk about this band. They got a new album coming out after a long hiatus, and we're going to talk about the leadoff track on RAP. After a brief intro, we've got Reborn Through Hate. And this is another one of those special albums in a band's catalog. This is their debut. As they went, yeah, they're technical on here, but there's the way this thing is produced, and they got the little classical intro, and they've got some little classical flourishes throughout the album. I mean, even the urns and stuff on the back. There's just another one of those kind of mystical sounding albums. Even though it's kind of techie thrash, it has it. They didn't lose the heaviness, and there's a darkness to this record, and I've always loved it. But Reborn Through Hate, just a savage opening track. I love the vocals, just kind of a speaking, the way he, was it Ron Royce was a singer, right? I get them mixed up. Ron's voice is just very dark and kind of like he's talking a bit the way he's doing it, but it just works so well with this music. The music is very serpentine, we'll say. There's a lot of this going on in the music, a lot of technical tremolo based riffs, which they really focused on as they went forward. They got a lot more noodly as they went, which I love. The first three in particular, the Mental Vortex, I like that record too, but this album is special in their catalog. The production's perfect. When the Punishment for Decadence afterwards, they buried Ron's vocals, which always bothered me, because his voice is great in my opinion. It fits the music really well, but I think they wanted the music to do the talking because they really did advance quite a bit with their technicality. But on this record, it's kind of evil sounding, but it's just really great. You know, coming out of the Celtic Frost hemisphere, these guys were roadies for Celtic Frost. Tom Warrior sang on their Death Cult demo. He sang on all the tracks. It's killer. It's a great demo. These guys didn't come out sounding like Celtic Frost at all, even though they were kind of under their wing, which is kind of amazing, even being in the same city. But God, love this album to this day. It's just, I look at it and I want to listen to it. It's so good.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the new record.
Yeah, me
the
too.
new track is encouraging. I was thinking it was going to be Grin Part 2, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be. But we've only heard one track, so we'll see.
Right.
All right. Daryl, what you got?
All right. Well, with Dark Angel, I gave you my second favorite thrash opener of all time. So we'll go to my absolute favorite thrash opener of all time. And this is also my number one moment that mirrors Marty's leave Camelot, throw it in the car, everything stands on edge. Beneath the Remains.
You bastard! That's a Camelot story for me too. There it is.
Yeah. That's when you tell that story. This is what I'm in my own Escort with it cranked up, and we're like, "Oh my god, this rules!"
I was in my Ford Thunderbird. I had an Alpine stereo in that thing. It was so great.
Nice.
My summer car. Yeah.
Nice. Where you had to take the faceplate off and take it with you?
No, it wasn't that fancy. It came with the car, but it ripped. I was
Okay.
fucking blazing this thing. Yep.
Yeah. That's definitely my favorite opener. It just, oh my god, the way it comes in and Max's voice, and yeah, it's kind of funny that I showed him in order because this is my second favorite metal album of all time after Don't Break the Oath. So,
yep.
Beneath the Remains.
I remember putting this in and turning it up. I bought it because it was on RC Records. I looked, the cover looked cool. I had not heard a note from this band, and that little intro at the beginning of Beneath the Remains with like the acoustic guitar and like that hiss, that synth hiss.
Yeah.
It was the same melody line as Close My Eyes Forever by Ozzy and Lita. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, oh no. First thing I said was, oh no. And I started singing along, the Ozzy thing. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. And then hair on the back of the neck stands up, and wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What a bait and switch.
Right.
All right, Jimmy.
Yeah, I was not sure if I was going to pick that one or this one, but
Great one as well.
I could go with either one, really. I mean, this is hard to pick between those two records as a favorite, but for me, it's this one because this is where I came in, and obviously going back to the Banger's Ball days and seeing the videos for There Was a Rise, Dead Embryonic Cells, and Desperate Cry, but killer. I mean, just as a former drummer, but like in those days, man, I just tried to emulate Igor on this album because he was just so killer. Yeah, I mean, Beneath the Remains or Arise, you could pick either one, but Arise, killer opening track, just the best Sepultura ever was in those days. I like Cassidy too, but after that, that's about it. Just those first four records. But yeah, man, I mean, it's hard to pick which one, but this one, I don't know, just from front to back, this album, just such a nostalgic album for me. Yep.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, you guys should take a chance on that Derek Green stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, you like that?
I mean, if you don't mind a little progginess, and he comes from a hardcore background, so his vocal delivery and style is so much different than Max. But The Head is the Mediator is a good one. Quadra is a good one of their later stuff.
Yeah, I admit I haven't really checked a lot of that stuff out. So I mean, I've got a buddy that loves Quadra and the Mediator one you just talked about. Yeah, I mean, I just haven't spent the time because they did a lot of records with Derek, and I kind of just like fell out, and I just never got around to checking out any of those albums.
Yeah, that middle section, Roots Against a Nation, are all turds, but you could pick and choose from the rest of the catalog and come up pretty good.
That band broke my spirit with Roots. I didn't give a shit. They could have put out Beneath the Remains Part 2 after that album. I wouldn't have cared. I was so pissed off. That album. And how in the hell, riddle me this, how in the hell does a guy that came in on the third album, how does he end up with the keys to the gate? After all the original members leave, how is he the one still being able to hoist up the Sepultura banner? That's always seemed a little strange to me, especially when the band's manager was Max's wife. How does this work out? And what dimension is this? Okay, obviously this one, but it's weird.
Right.
It is weird.
Jimmy just went. My turn. Okay, another one I've shown a million times. My band was named after this song, The Glorious Dead, off of Gorefest's False album. This is my favorite air from this band, although their last album, Rise to Ruin, is also great, and I do like Mind Lost before this as well, but they had a rough patch in the center for sure. But The Glorious Dead, these guys are simple European death metal, but it works so well. They're Ed Wormsby, what the hell's his name? Wormsby? Warby, yeah. Amazingly technically perfect drummer. He could blast, he could do all the things, and he did it with perfection. The drum sound was always top of the line. The music is simple but just so hard hitting and just great blunt death metal with a little bit of melodic flourishes, and Jan's voice is mean. It's just mean. He sounds pissed off. He's completely, you can understand what he's saying. He's very discernible the way he growls, and what a great album. This is one I'd like to find on a vinyl. It just has not come across my I've never seen Gorefest in a store. I've always had to order Gorefest. Even later in life, I've had to order Gorefest through the mail. It's weird. Even with this being in a relapse thing, a Nuclear Blast America relapse, I had to get this from Relapse. But it's weird.
Yeah, they repressed it. I don't remember who it was pressed a vinyl, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago.
I snoozed on it. And I shouldn't have, but what are you going to do? He'll turn up someday.
Yeah, great pick. Awesome album.
Yeah. I don't own any physical copy of that, but it is an awesome album. All right. I'm going to go to one I am pretty certain no one has. So again,
we'll see about that.
Everyone can laugh at me for this. I hold this as one of my top maybe 15 albums of all time. And, obviously, it's a love thing. It's close to my heart. The second album from this band is obviously better, but this album means the world to me. And just Rock Brigade rules. I love these guys for how in-your-face PG they are. Like, just the track Rock Brigade, the whole idea and lyrical theme is, this badass rock band's coming to town, so lock your doors and stuff. And the most controversial thing they actually say is, we might steal your sister. They're not even committed. They're not even fully committed.
Well, they have to see your sister first. There's a chance she might not be worth stealing.
Right. Yeah, they were probably onto something. That's smart.
You have to leave a door of open opportunity to get out of it. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, just beginning to end, I love this. I have like 7 copies of this album, but Rock Brigade rules. I've seen so many people in the Discord mock this album, but makes me smile every time. Love it.
when after the Sabbath concert happened, I was just going through my old rock records, and I bought that I think last year. So the first time I really sat, I think Jeff gave me a cassette of it, which I listened to and thought was pretty good. But I actually, when I got the record, I sat down and listened to it, and it just isn't what I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? It does not sound like Def Leppard.
Right.
And I'm not the connoisseur of new wave of British heavy metal, and I listened to it, and it doesn't really sound like British heavy metal, new wave of British heavy metal that I'm familiar with. So it kind of seemed like they were an interloper. They didn't really know what they were or what they were going to be. But I also, the same time I bought the one with the diver on the front, High and Dry. I listened to that directly after, and I love that record. Yeah. They still have their original, the guitarist that was on that record. I can't remember his name. Pete? No.
Oh yeah.
They have him on that. It has a little bit more of an AC/DC vibe, but there's also the Def Leppard, trademark sound is coming in. Songs are great. I think that's a great record. Mutt Lange produced it, so it's got balls to it. I don't know. It just seems like a different band than that. They changed completely. It feels like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I love them both, and I think High and Dry is probably technically a better album, but this one's great.
It's still it's a good record. I had a hard time connecting with the songs. Maybe I need to spend a little more time with it. I didn't hate it, but I was kind of surprised it just wasn't what I was anticipating. But yeah. It's cool to see you pull that, it's great. Hey, Jimmy.
This one is kind of fitting because this album just hit 20th anniversary today.
Thanks, Tim. Pete Willis. I knew it was Pete.
But
yeah, there you go.
Pete Way was coming in my head, but then he's from UFO, so that was completely different. Anyway, different Pete. Sorry, Jimmy.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, so this hit its 20th anniversary today. I can't believe this album is 20 years old, but Opeth's Ghost Reverie.
I like that record. I think that's a really good record.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great record. Ghost of Perdition is the leading track, and this is a classic Opeth song, and it's a pretty reliable live staple. They typically play this song, and it's one of those Opeth tracks that it really just kind of like it has all the elements of Opeth during this time. At this point, I think, for me, Opeth was just releasing great album after great album. And this one was no different. Really, this one, I thought when they signed to Roadrunner, it was going to kind of maybe go in a direction that wasn't agreeable to me. But no, I mean, they still really killed it on this record. There's a lot of just awesome, really heavy stuff on here. Ghost of Perdition, The Baying of the Hounds, Reverie, Harlequin Forest, such a good song. Grand Conjuration, it's definitely one of the heaviest songs they did. There's a lot of really good soft stuff on here too. Isolation Years and what's the other one? Hours of Wealth. But yeah, I mean, Ghost of Perdition, I mean, that's just a killer opening track to a really awesome record. The band, they were definitely one of my favorite at the time, just that the run of, between Orchid to up really to this record. I dug Watershed too. After that, they lost me completely. With
Watershed was good, but you could tell it was a little tired sounding.
Well, I think they had kind of run the sound as far as they could go with it. So I kind of understood why they really kind of shook things up with Heritage and went into the whole, 70s prog direction. And I think that stuff's good. It's just not for me. I'm not really into, I like some progressive stuff, but just the real, obscure like 70s prog kind of stuff just isn't really my thing. And I kind of they were always such a special band to me, and because they had the death metal, but they were also kind of doing the prog, and they just had a really good knack for just amazing songwriting. I love this lineup too at the time. Martin Lopez on drums and Lindgren on guitar.
Yeah, it was a good mix. The prog and metal mix is about right,
Yeah, it was kind of like the Rest in Peace lineup with Megadeth. It was just kind of like everything worked really with all these musicians, I felt. And not to say that, the later guys that came in weren't good as well. But yeah, they just kind of went in a direction that just I kind of just duck out. I will say I really do dig the new record, though. They kind of brought the metal back. There's a lot more death metal on it. And they kind of took like what they were doing with like their more recent like 70s prog style. I mean, you could say there was 70s prog stuff in his older stuff. It's not really, I wouldn't really call it that. I mean, they really kind of opened that up with the heritage stuff. But so they kind of took that, brought back some of the metal elements and the death metal vocals, and it's a really good record. I really like it a lot. But you know, this is the classic shit. And Ghost of Perdition, I mean, it's just, you know, that's, if I another like song I would say anybody wanted to get into this band, it would be a good one to start with, because it just has all those elements, the death metal, the good riffs, great clean parts with Michael, just sounds amazing. It's such an amazing vocalist. To me, it's like one of the greatest death metal growls, but just amazing clean vocals as well. But yeah, man, 20 years old, can't believe it. Yep.
Wow.
All right. Well, there's several albums I could have went with from this band, but I decided on the one that I've listened to the most. Is the first album I bought. By Edge of Sanity. This is Unorthodox, their second album, and the Enigma is there is an intro here, but Enigma is the first song. Wow, Swedish death metal, another band that people talk about, but they don't think they really get. I think they're kind of overshadowed by bands like Dismember and, you know, Entombed and stuff like that, which is a bummer because Swano, he's one of those guys that is kind of like Ackerfeld. He could sing really well. He has a beautiful singing voice, and his brutals are just absolutely unholy. I love it. And, you know, Enigma kind of right away, it starts off heavy as hell. And then there's that one little serene piece where the God gives you shelter at heaven's shore, abandon your thoughts to the mighty thing. It's just like, huh. Cause that was kind of the first time I really heard that, you know, bit of a clean singing mixed in with a brutal Swedish death metal, persona, and it worked. He was a guy that sold it right away. It didn't sound odd or out of place. I'm like, I could hear that a little bit more. Of course, it doesn't happen on the rest of the album, but yeah, talk about a great, you know, maybe this band got a little bit more musically adventurous or a little bit better at what they do as they went on. The Spectral Sorrows is a favorite. And of course, Crimson, fantastic, but yeah, this is a special record. The art piece on the back is so killer. What a great freaking album. This is the Swedish death metal that really should be talked about a bit more, I think, on the YouTubes. Edge of Sanity.
Nice
Awesome
one.
pick.
Good picks again, guys. That's exactly where I am on my Opeth journey as Ghost Revelries. I did not like Orchid, and I remember writing Opeth off quickly in my youth. And the guys on Discord had urged me to go back and try, and I've just taken my time and gone right up through. So I haven't heard any of that newer 70s prog type stuff. But all right. My next pick, kind of an odd one here. On the Discord, we were all talking Kiss as usual, and what is our favorite Ace track? And it's the lead off the solo album, Rip It Out.
Yeah,
absolute best Ace track.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
That's a great record. It really is. He did a great job for as much of a fuck up as that guy is. What a great track.
Yeah.
What a great album.
Yeah. And all of the stuff is pretty good. I've been finding a lot of it used on cassette at my local, which is weird.
They press like 20 bazillion of each of those records.
Yeah.
And you go on eBay and you see people selling the records for $30 and they're partied on them. Like, these aren't rare. Why are you selling them for that fucking much money?
Yeah. I grabbed a bunch of used cassettes at one time, and Trouble Walking is one that I'm really enjoying. I'd like to find that on CD or vinyl. But yeah, Rip It Out. Nothing tops that. So, Ace solo album.
So would you, as a Kiss fan, Paul Stanley or Ace Frehley? I think those are the two best. I have one that I prefer over the other, but they're both great. What would you, if there was a fire, your house is burning, you had to save one Kiss solo album of those two, which one would walk out the door with you?
Ace, 100%. Yeah, I knew you'd be disappointed. I'm
not disappointed because it's a great record. I agree 100%.
I was going to take it a step further on the Discord. I actually put Peters above Paul. I do. I love it.
Oh.
Give me the 50s soul and rock and roll. And I know Paul's emotion, and there's some great songwriting there. But if there was a fire and I saved two, it's Ace and Peter.
I will say, I think Peter was the best singer for Kiss in
Yeah.
Kiss. I loved his bluesy rasp.
Yeah,
but
Hooligan. I love that song.
Oh, dude, in Strange Ways. Oh my God. Anyway, but Paul Stanley that's a mystical record for me too. It's got a starry, dreamy production to it, and I think some of the best songs Paul wrote are on that album.
Yeah.
I love that record, and I love that Ace record too. Those are both great. They're both great.
Good
Not
stuff.
a wrong. There's not a wrong answer, but in this instance, I would have to save the Paul because it's such a great record. So good. And Jimmy's like, let him burn. Get some marshmallows, make some s'mores. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much of a skin in the game when it comes to Kiss. So.
No, I get it. It's not
Little
your. It's
before
not
my
your.
time.
It's not your era. No.
But that's cool. I mean, I do love Ace though because he's hilarious.
He's hilarious,
You
but
know?
we'll talk about a
Or
guy
at
that
least he
squandered.
was, you know?
Man, you watch some old Kiss shit live. He smoked. He was at one time a good guitar player, and then he never improved, and he just got worse. The more screwed up he got, he just didn't care anymore. It just was. He just goes by the seat of his pants, and he's not good enough for that to pull it off. I don't know. Anyway, this is a sidebar. Sorry, people that don't like Kiss in the chat, but we're old farts. We talk about Kiss around here.
I think a lot of people like him more than I ever expected, you know, like, especially in this community, you know, still kind of waiting for the big Kiss deep dive on heavy metallurgy.
We did that.
They did it.
Did you already do?
Yeah. Me and King did that.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
King Fowley?
Yep.
Awesome. I don't know how I missed that. Well, I probably didn't watch it at the time because
You're not a
I
Kiss
don't
fan.
really have much game in the Kiss game, but yeah.
Yep.
Right on, dude. Well, this one is kind of easy pick for me. I'm not the biggest Type of Negative fan. I like some stuff. I really love this album.
That is every metalhead's Barry White album right there. That is the one.
Absolutely.
For the longest time, that's the only typo I owned was that one, and I liked it because it's, you know, hey baby, let's make sweet love type shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, for sure, man. You know, make me come. You know. Yeah, but I mean, come on, you know, Love You to Death. I mean, it's just such a beautifully written song, and it's such
a
an
great
emotion.
singer too.
Yeah, man, and like as cheesy as this album can get at times, it still has that vibe, and I love the vibe throughout the record. But yeah, man, I mean, just it's just such a beautiful track, and it's heartfelt. It's crushing, really. Some of the words he's singing in there, and just love the piano, love the atmosphere, love how it just bursts into that big guitar riff. And the piano, it just sounds like October. It does. It sounds like it's meant to be. And there's a lot of great stuff on here as well. But yeah, I mean, like some Type of Negative is hit or miss for me. Some of it kind of just blends together for me. And, you know, because I know a lot of people that go for this band go really, really hard for anything Pete Steele does. And I like some of the Carnivore stuff as well. And
I love Retaliation. That album is amazing.
Sure. Yeah, that's all good stuff. I still really want to read the Wagner book. I haven't read that one.
That book, Jeff's book, I read that book because he's my friend and I love the way he writes. But that book, I went from just October Rust. After I read that book, I went and bought all the typo stuff, and I had a completely different perspective, and I listened to them with fresh ears, and I loved almost all of them. I mean, I'm like, what? I missed out on this for so long. I'm not in the mood often, but when I do listen to it, I really do. What a talent. What a unique band.
Yeah. And he just seemed like a really great guy too. And really tortured soul. But, you know, I mean, and Wagner, yeah, I mean, like you're not the first person I've heard that from, Marty. I've got a really close friend that read the book and he just went through the entire disco and just became completely just immersed in everything Pete Steele, and he just couldn't help it because he said the book really. I read Mean Deviation. That was the only book I read that Wagner wrote. He's a great writer.
So good.
So good. I need to get around to reading the book at some point. But yeah, man, it's such a great opening track, and it just hits you in all the feels. And I'm not. Yeah, I mean, you Yeah. What else can you say?
God,
Both.
Wolf Moon, what an amazing song. Red Water, what a sad fucking song.
Man,
Be My Druidess, so good.
good. Green Man, love
Yeah.
that. I mean, you gotta love My Girlfriend's Girlfriend. Come on.
And he actually made a Neil Young song sound good too, a Cinnamon Girl. Oh my God, what
Cinnamon
a
Girl,
cool
that's right.
cover. They took a lot of liberties with that song and they made it their own. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Great album.
Oh, I'm next. Okay, let's go here. I don't think Daryl's gonna shit my cereal on this one. I beat him to it if he was gonna. Yeah, Vader, De Profundis, Silent Empire. You want to talk about a band that is completely dialed in? I even like Black to the Blind. I mean, they were just, Doc as a drummer was just technically perfect. His speed was flawless. He just really was the propellant in all of this stuff. You know, Peter's writing style and Doc's drumming complementing each other so perfectly well. Silent Empire, what an exciting opener, you know, and it basically, this entire album is exciting from start to finish. I always had the promo of this, and finally when they reissued it a few years ago, I'm like, I don't have any other Vader on vinyl, so I'm just gonna get the CD. I'm glad I did. This is a favorite for sure. Don't love the cover artwork, but you know what, it's not the cover that matters, but this album absolutely rules. What a unique band that's still fighting today, and they still sound like Vader, and they're still putting out crushing killer material. But yeah, Silent Empire, great, absolutely great. Fast, brutal, but memorable as well. There's a lot of interesting hooks. The chorus is a hook for sure, and yep, this album's full of hooks. So good.
Yeah, I almost picked Litany, but
great too. Yep.
Yeah. Both great Vader albums. I didn't pick any Vader, but that would have been the one. All right. Next. This seems to be an album I show in every video. Somehow it gets woven into the topic. But this one coming out of the gates with the music sample to start it off, leading into just production and a guitar tone that I had never heard at that time, but loved it instantly. And it is The Exorcist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What a great record.
Yeah. Great record. But
God, I haven't spun that record in a while either. I don't know why. It's weird.
Yeah. Just, yeah, love it to death. Everything about this album, but just that intro and Larry's guitar tone. It's just hard to hear it now and think that's, you know, Primus. You know?
Yeah.
It sounded like guitar from hell.
Yeah. I still can't believe that he was in that band. I love Primus myself, but I love that record too.
Yeah.
And funny enough, you know, they still talk about that album. It's like Primus is one of those bands that me and my wife love together. Like we liked them a lot early on, and it's one of those bands is either love or hate them kind of thing. But you know, for us, it was kind of big when we were younger, and but we just saw them live like a year ago, and Les was talking about Larry being possessed, and it's just kind of crazy.
He's saying the godfather of death metal. He says it in their live shows. And the funny thing is,
right.
the debate is raged on in the Discord server, and it's raged on in this channel. People think that they're the first death metal band. And I stumbled across it this year. It was this year. I don't know if it was an old video clip from Much Music or what, but it was Becerra and someone else sitting down being interviewed, and they were asked what kind of music they are. And Becerra piped up. He said, "We are a thrash metal band. We are a thrash metal." He said it like 3 times in this interview. And I'm like, from the horse's mouth. Now he might say that they're the first death metal band, but back when they were in the thick of it, they were a thrash metal band, and they were a dark thrash metal band to me. And you know, Death to me is the first death metal band. That just, they emulated the sound where Possessed tinkered with it and they coined the phrase. But I mean, would you call Venom a black metal band? Come on, you know, they're what they sing about. I guess if the true definition of black metal is satanic, then okay. But they certainly don't sound like a black metal band. So
yeah, I've always been right on that fence with that argument, but those Possessed demos, I mean, that's a strong argument.
I don't know if I've ever heard the demos, to be honest.
Was, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yep, thrash metal band, and if you think otherwise, that's fine. It's just it's fun to debate this shit, but they were just always a thrash band to me because I didn't know what death metal was back then. I mean, there's a Onslaught had a song called Death Metal 2 on their debut album. So are they a death metal band too? No, they're not.
No.
All right, Jimmy, sorry for the aside there.
Oh, no,
you
no.
showed Possessed. That's right.
Yeah, it's a good debate. Yeah, I would go with death on that one too. But well, a little more death metal for you. I got to pull my favorite Morbid Angel record, which is Covenant. This tape is 8 to shit, and it's another relic that's sitting on my deck, and you can probably see why it's completely unplayable at this point. But got to keep it, got to have it, got to remember when I bought it, and yeah, Morbid Angel. I love all the early stuff, but this is just the one for me that where it really came together. And Covenant, Rapture, another Headbangers Ball thing. I loved it when Headbangers Ball started showing death metal, which was they would show Morbid Angel, they would show Napalm Death, Obituary, every now and then Carcass. Maybe there was a couple of the other ones, but Rapture was pretty heavy on the ball for a few months, for a while. And this is where the band signed to a bigger label. They were getting more exposure and stuff, but they didn't compromise anything. I mean, this is a pure death metal record. Excellent. I mean, really for me, they're at their finest here. Just Trey is at his finest. I mean, Pete, they all are, man. They're just locked in with these songs on this album. And really just, it just goes places, man. It's not just, regular, just kind of meat and potatoes death metal, man. The shit just like kind of transcends, getting to the ending. I mean, I would have picked this on the ending episode, with God of Emptiness, because it's just a killer song. I mean, it's not quite death metal. I mean, it kind of is, but it's a slow, brooding, just awesome way to go out with a banger. But opening with Rapture, man, you just right off the bat, dude, killer Morbid Angel track. Trey's leads are just amazing. The drumming is just insane, man. Sandoval, it's just a god on this thing. But can you say, man? So many great records, so many great openers for records. But this is the one for me for sure, Covenant. But yep.
You want to talk about one of the leading vocalists in death metal, David Vincent. He had such a stately way of singing. Yeah, I mean, just the way he enunciated and put all that power behind those words, in rapture, I'm reborn. It's just so you're just in it with him. It's so great. And seeing him live, he just played it up to you. Such a charismatic frontman, such a great talent. Oh yeah. They were a death metal band that I always loved, I just referred to the meat and potatoes kind of stuff. But this was really I don't want to call it atmospheric, but it really just had a vibe to it, that was totally different than a lot of the bands that were playing at the time, and it just, to me, in a lot of ways, there's never been anything black metal about Morbid Angel, but there is kind of a spirit in there that kind of matches the black metal, atmosphere in a way. I think that just comes through in Trey's riffs, man. It's all about his stuff. They didn't need keyboards or anything like that. It's just, but I agree with, David was just, I kind of hate to see. He's still a great vocalist. I just it's a little weird with him in today's day. But man, in that time, that was the classic Morbid Angel, But I like the Tucker stuff too. Formulas, man, what an album that is. Zingling, that is a great point. Beyond the Gates is the best argument that Possessed are just thrash. If they were death metal, their sound would have progressed that way. You're 100% right, man.
Yeah. People say that on the Discord too. That is a weird transition. Let me try and find while Marty talks.
And even The Eyes of Horror, that isn't death metal at all. It's weird. It's weird.
But more thrash.
Yeah, it's 100%. Produced by Joe Satriani too, by the way. Huh. And I gotta say, how many years have we been doing this show? All the hours I've spent in this chair, it is the most uncomfortable chair on the internet. I'm just saying, God, I need a Barca lounger office chair or something for my fat old ass. All right, here we go. Okay, we're going back to Germany. We're going back to power metal. Sorry. God, this album so good. Hypertrace by Scanner. You start off with Warp 7, and again, this whole album is great, but it's an energetic, kind of a speedy power metal song. And this album, Ralph Sheepers was supposed to be the main vocalist on it, but the guy that they got to do it ended up being on it, and Ralph does backup vocals on this. So for all your Primal Fear fans that didn't know he was on here, I didn't know either until recently, but yeah, Warp 7, the first time I heard this band was on the Doomsday News comp. They had the song Galactos, which at the time wasn't on any of their albums. So I bought this record hoping to hear Galactos, and it wasn't on there. But it is on, this is a Dive Bomb reissue. It's on the reissue, but Warp 7, melodic, fast, great singer, super catchy, good gallop in this stuff. This is a fantastic Scanner album. If you don't check out any other Scanner, this is the one you need to listen to. They've put out good albums throughout their entire career. They're just not talked about very often, which is strange because they were kind of there during the whole era, you know, a band overshadowed by Helloween and others in the scene that got a little bit more notoriety up front.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kev, we are on the same page. Right on, brother. Good to see other Michiganders in the cheers, Ed. Everybody go check out Ed's Den of Metal. He just started his channel and he's got an amazing collection. Go check him out. He just lives about 40 minutes away from here. All right.
Cool. I didn't know he had a channel.
Yep. Check it out.
He seems like a cool guy.
Yeah.
This was the Possessed I was talking about. This is a collection of demos that have Reanimation.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, definitely more of a death metal sound in these demos. But yeah, I see the argument either way. But Scanner, I finally did hit it since I've been part of the community.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it.
It's a great record, man.
I don't know why I ignored it for a while. You must have shown it a dozen times before I finally tried.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go simple and still in our thoughts, still on my turntable. Over the Mountain, maybe one of the best openers that just takes me back to my youth. I mean, as soon as that guitar riff starts, I'm a little kid again. I mean, it has that power like no other album in my collection. And have you guys seen the Randy Rhoads movie documentary that's on Prime?
No.
Okay, it's really good. I think it's free on YouTube now too.
Really?
But that was really good. It was insightful. But yeah.
Over the Mountain better than Bark at the Moon? I mean,
you know, I had them both pulled. I don't know.
They're both great songs.
This is I don't know. Nostalgia for me. I love Bark at the Moon as a whole album more, but Over the Mountain as a track, I think overpowers it. Yeah.
Good pull.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy, what you got?
Let's see. What do I go with here? I'll go with this one. It's a little different, but it's been discussed here on Metallurgy a couple times. But it's a top 10 band for me, man. But I was talking a little bit about how, like, the Strapping Young Lad record, how Velvet Kevorkian, like, it's the opening track. It prepares you for like what's to come in a way. So this is a little bit different as far as an opening track in that regard. But the Ruins of Beverast, Blood Vaults, and the opening track on this, Apologia. It's just him. It's this really brooding, like, synth kind of moment with these like choirs kind of weaving in and out.
You just lost your volume.
There we go. Sorry about that.
That's right.
But yeah, so just weaving choirs in, and it just kind of slowly kind of builds with this like brooding synth part. And then he just comes out like he's just reading from, I guess, what is the Malleus Maleficarum, the book. That's basically what this album is about. And with his awesome death metal vocal. And it's just so like, like the first line he says is among the calamities of a rapidly declining age, the ways among the calamities of the rapidly, I can't growl, but it's just so killer, man. And it just really envelopes you and kind of brings you into this medieval like world, not medieval, but just a time past, and ages ago. And I love that about him and how he just kind of builds these, not only with his music, but like with like the concepts behind him. Like, Foul Seaman, you guys talked about recently, one thing that I don't know if it ever came up in that, but just how important like the lyrics and the concept are in that record. And that it's like, you have records that, you can have a deicide record that's talking about Satan and all this kind of stuff. Or you have a record like Foul Seaman that's really a scathing indictment on Christianity and religion in general. And it's done in such an intellectual way, and really dissects a lot of like old texts and ideas that are ancient. And that's what he's just like so good at, and he's got a lot of great opening tracks, but, and just like I was saying, like in terms of like getting you ready for, and this is a big, long album. It's a big listen. It's a lot. It's an undertaking. It's not my favorite of his catalog, but it's still really, really great. But it's an example of something that is done so effectively in order to draw you into what is to come, right? And it's very simple. Like I said, it's just some synths and just him reading this thing, and it's just like what that kind of does. It really just instantly transports you right there. But great opener. He's always really good at this stuff. Hoping for a new record, hopefully this year or next. He's due.
Nice. All right. Well, God, this is such a classic. Beyond the Black. God, I love how this song starts. It's just kind of a big, it just kind of builds up to the vocals. That guitar solo at the beginning of this track is just one of those, it's like a hook. How did they make that such an important part of that intro? It just really builds it up, makes it feel like very triumphant, like something was about to happen, and yeah, I love David Wayne's vocals during this era. The first two albums are fantastic, and Beyond the Black, I really don't know more to say other than I love this record. You want to talk about a record that stands the test of time? This thing, Kurt Vanderhoof's writing, he's such a great songwriter, and it just had, they were running in the circles with Metallica and all that stuff, but I think they were kind of dwarfed by those other bands in thrash popularity, where these guys I've never considered thrash. These guys are always US power metal to me, which I know that throws a lot of people for a loop, but this really isn't thrashy. They got a little thrashy here and there. You get like that Merciless Onslaught song, that intro or that instrumental is kind of thrashy, but this is kind of mid-paced stuff. It's just so powerful. It's just got that true heavy metal spirit to it, mixed in with a little rougher, at the time, modern sound. But God, what a great record. This and The Dark, absolute favorites. Sure, Rest in peace, David Wayne. Hell yeah.
Almost pulled that one for tonight. Yeah, I think The Dark is probably as close as they came to thrash, but even
there's definitely moments on there.
Yeah. All right. 2 simple words for the next one. War Ensemble. Yeah. Just better as a live track, obviously, but to open an album, pretty badass too. Just one of the staples of Slayer. I mean, you could have chosen Angel of Death, South of Heaven. I mean, maybe even Evil Has No Boundaries. I don't know. But this is the Slayer opener for me. This you get one Slayer opener. It's War Ensemble.
Angel of Death too, though. That song is so great. I didn't grab Rain and Blood because I figured one of you guys would. So I was like, I'm not going to show it. All right.
Yeah, War Ensemble. I picked that one too. I mean, like Lombardo at his finest too, and his drum fills on that song are just absolutely amazing. Yeah, I mean, you can pick any of those early Slayer records, and oh man, what do I pick next? I'm gonna go. Yeah, got to do this one. Wow, what a great opener. One of my favorite death metal records of all time, which is Carcass's Necroticism. And Propagation, excellent opener. I mean, this is one of those ones that like instantly draws you in. It's like as soon as you hear those like the gates kind of like it's like this you're just it's as if you're you could picture yourself in like a dreaming nightmare state, and the anesthesia is wearing off when it's not supposed to. And you're waking up to a real life nightmare of these surgeons, just your chest is wide open and they're operating on your organs. I mean, that's kind of like what I feel like when I hear that first track, it's just instantly absolutely amazing. And it's a long track, and it's just like, what was so beautiful about this record is, I love where they went. So I love all the Carcass stuff. But they never topped this album. I mean, just like in ninth grade, I went to Tower Records. I had heard this and picked this up, looking at the pictures on the back. I'm like, what the hell? And it's just amazing, sick, awesome. I'm buying this for sure. They never really quite topped just the weird kind of like sound that they got on these songs, I mean, it's melodic.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, it was just something that happened on this album where all the stars aligned in terms of what they were presenting, that the music really sounded like what they were supposed to sound like. I mean, of course, Symphony was great too, but this one, I mean, it was catchy, but it was still extreme and death metal, and great songwriting, solos that are amazing. Just a great melodic sense. I mean, what do you say about Jeff Walker's vocals? I mean, just one of a kind.
Sick.
And this album has just never been replicated ever. It's never been done quite the way that it was. And even though Heartwork I love, and it was a great record, and I think that they still built on the great melodic sense that they had, Bill Steer and Mike Hammett on that record. But this, and Ken Owen is great on it. It just man, what an album, man. But that first track, man, it just like it's such a weird, like if you try to really dissect how did they write this, there's just a lot of unconventional things that they do, and it's just the way that it starts off with that big kind of building drum part and goes into the first verse. That riff, man, it's just so perfect. It's just like it just was meant to be. I don't know, but for such a long track, it goes by very fast. And
it's kind of a weird riff too. It's kind of plunky, kind of lumps along, but it's so kind of, I don't know, swarthy sounding. It's weird. Very cool.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, I don't have the words for, and that's what's kind of always beautiful about things like this, is that like maybe there aren't words like in the English language that would fit the way that I would try to describe like how they did this music. It's just so awesome, man.
So there you go, chat. There's one guy out there that isn't pissed off at our death metal tier list that Carcass won that with that album. But there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this band is something else, man. And we're going to go with Death or Glory by Running Wild with Riding the Storm.
Nice.
I grew up having a bargain bin copy of Gates to Purgatory on cassette, and I listened to that thing a ton. You want to talk about a weird but cool band? Running Wild on their first album was evil. Just good, weird, heavy metal. I never heard Branded and Exiled until later. Under the Jolly Roger, I thought was weird. But that was the transitional record, right? And here you go, the album right after that, and they really dialed in the whole pirate thing, and they just really let that twin guitar, the melody lines, they just sing. And Rolf got to be such a fantastic riff and songwriter, and it lasted a good 7 or 8 records where he didn't really screw up. He was really in the zone, maybe recreating the same thing over and over, but it's such a special thing he's stumbled upon and created. What a special band. And even today, their newer stuff is pretty good. Is it ever going to be this good again? Of course not. But they'd recently just played a show and they sounded great, man. I watched clips of it on YouTube, and God, they got it. They are running wild. And we said it on this channel a bunch. If you're unfamiliar with Running Wild, you need to invest some time. It's just, yeah, kind of pirate based, but the music is it's almost folky heavy metal. The way those melody lines interact with the music, it's got an uplifting bounce to it. But the guitar work is amazing. The songwriting is top notch. And Riding the Storm, someone said a very soulful intro. It really is. But what a great record. Every song on here, just get this record. It's awesome. Absolutely great. Amazing band, Running Wild. What a German gem. Amazing.
Good pick.
Another band for you to try. I know you're getting into the Helloween. You're starting to get a little more. It's hard to call these guys straight up power metal. They're just a heavy metal band. But God, they're so.
It's one that I've been meaning to come around to because it's always talked about on the Discord and this channel in general. And it's one that I do need to go do. Would that be the one I should start with? You think, Marty?
I mean, anything, this one and onward, there's like a 7-album run where they're all great. So
wow.
You kind of look at Metal Archives. I mean, this was my first kind of come to Jesus moment with this band. Like, holy shit. But the album after it and the 3 albums after it, fantastic.
Yeah. The Discord will probably lead you to that one. I love Port Royal. That's
a transitional record. It's great. It's really good, but they got way better in my opinion. But yeah, it's still a good record. 100%.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. We just recently ranked this band's albums, and I think I've changed my number 1 since that time. And it wasn't even that long ago. So
that's a good record.
I abstain.
Yep.
Yeah, obviously there's the intro on this one that I'm ignoring.
I picked that one too.
Nice.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Great record.
Yeah. Bernie's my second favorite death metal vocalist, at least doing death metal like here. But yeah. So my favorite album by them and my favorite Barney performance. Good stuff. Killer.
Yeah, that's a great opening track for any Napalm Death record. I abstain.
Yeah.
Love the lyrics in that, and it's just hit so hard,
A funny side note, I remember the first time, because I guess we'd never seen video footage or anything of seeing them live, and I was like, what? This is the dude that was singing those lyrics? It's like, that's crazy. I love it. He's got his own style.
Yeah, I've seen Napalm a few times, and I think there was only one time they played that song.
Oh, okay.
Like years ago.
Yeah.
You would think that would be one they would always play.
I
don't remember playing it very often, but for sure.
I remember I was so psyched to go to that show and see him for the first time. I was like, I want to be right up there next to Barney. And he's got his leg up over me standing, and he gets locked into that marching thing he would do. And his groin was right here.
Teabagging Celtic Frosty right there.
I don't want to be this close to Barney anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's one that Marty, I figured you would pick this one, but you haven't showed it yet. So sorry, brother. I'm going to have to show it. Maybe you were saving it for last. I don't know, but it's too late. Lost Horizon.
Awakening the World. I didn't even think to pull a Lost Horizon record. I mean, both of the albums start off with great. What was the first song on the second one? Pure? Oh my God.
Oh man, that was great. Yeah, but
so good.
I picked this one just because I love the intro, the quickening, and then it just bursts right into Heart of Storm, and it's wasting no time to show.
That album is orgasmically good. That album is so fucking amazing.
The sequencing of this album is just so perfect. I love where every single song is placed. It just flows so nicely and just, I mean, I wouldn't have had it any different the way that they put it together. But I love the production on this. I love every single musician shines on it right off the bat. Just when it comes into that scream right off the bat, it's just like, whoa, it's just such a freaking earworm and killer, and just hooks you right at, waste no time. And yeah, dude, I mean, that's one of those bands that, maybe when the hell is this ever going to get a vinyl press? I don't know.
The whole thing. I mean, go look up that shit on. You can find copies online on CD. I don't think they were ever released on vinyl ever.
I don't think they were. No.
And the CDs are going for ridiculous amounts. I got both of mine in a used bin for like under $10 years and years and years and years ago. I was fucking lucky, happy day that happened. But
yeah, I was lucky with this band because back in the day when I was playing music, my guitar player was into a lot of power metal, and he got right on this when it came out. I don't remember even how he learned of it, but I mean, he had bought it literally with like probably the month that it came out. And I mean, what year is this? This is, you remember, Marty?
I've got the Oracle up here. Hold on. I can tell you in 2 seconds. It is.
Well, it came out in
2001. 2001.
Yeah. So he was right on it. I mean, and it came out on Music for Nations and Coach Records, which like some of the middle era Opeth stuff was on that, and all that stuff got, tons of, I don't know. I don't know if all that stuff was on vinyl at the time either, but it's all been repressed and repressed. This has never gotten it. I just so happened to just buy this brand new. It was probably at, what was the CD warehouse, I guess, or something. Back in those days, because I just was lucky enough to be turned on to this band early on. And I never did have the second album, and I found that one for a decent price on Discogs.
That's a lot more keyboard heavy and more technical, but it's still fantastic.
Oh, it's still really good. Yeah. It's not as good as this one, but it's still really, really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's one of those bands I always wish, like to think about what would have happened if they had kept going and released another 5 records by this point or whatever. Maybe it just wasn't meant to be. I don't know. I don't know the story behind it. I mean, Daniel Hyman's gone on to do some great stuff in other, projects.
Sacred Outcry.
Yeah, that one
Warrior
was great.
Path.
I really love that one. The Sacred Outcry record was the one that I liked the most, that I had heard of his most recent stuff. And, it seems record. Like there's bands that always just are able to hire him and bring him out of hibernation, and he sounds just as good as ever. But one of the best, and I'm not even really a huge power metal guy. I like a handful of bands here and there, but this one, you don't even really need to be a power metal guy to not like this album. But yeah, I mean, as far as opening tracks, man, I mean, this one just hooks you right off the bat.
And for those of you who just can't stand that stuff, but want to hear a more heavy alternative, the guitar player that was also in the band Luciferion. I only have the one album where it's the Salvador Dali cover with the crucifixion on it, but it's death metal, but there's like music breaks. It sounds like Lost Horizon. So, I mean, he just had that sound and style in him, even when he was in a more aggressive, what is his power metal name? Transcendental Protagonist. Let me see if it pulls up his real Wojtek Lasiski. Man, what a squandered opportunity. That band should have kept going. They are so fantastically great. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But anyway, great pick. We're gonna go this route. Ceremony of Opposites by Samael. We've got Black Trip. That opening, Blood Ritual to me is a dark, creepy, evil album. This album takes that feel, and that riff alone on Black Trip is kind of has a commercial bounce to it, but the record is so dark, and with all the keyboard stuff and the lyrical concepts, and Vorflak's voice is just nasty, evil. Just the way he's got that snarl and the way he sings. This is a real special time for this band. This album and the album before it, the first album was good too. It's just very Celtic Frosty or simplistic. They got way better and darker as they went. But yeah, this is a absolute. When this thing came out, man, I could not keep it out of the CD player. I listened to it probably 10 million times, and that's probably a reason why I haven't circled back to it in a while. I know I just got a reissue here recently-ish. It's worth it. Get it. It's such a great record. But yeah, very orchestral or symphonic keyboards on here. They had that weird looking guy with the mohawk in the band, Rudolf. I don't know. Great band, great record. Obviously after this, they nixed the drums and went to a drum machine, which I always was very disappointed by. But Passage was still a good record, but yeah, they made it way too clinical sounding.
Yeah,
All right.
that's an album. I've got a copy of that, Ceremony of Opposites, and it's never clicked for me.
Really?
I know
Wow.
everybody loves that album, and I need to. I mean, I check it back in with it every now and then. It's just never. I've never been able to get into it like everybody likes it. I feel like I'm missing out.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I
But-
love that one. I almost pulled it.
Right on.
That's 3 almosts for me with Metal Church, Samael, and one other, Enslaved. Yeah.
One thing I've noticed of our time knowing each other and kind of doing this thing that we do here, that you and I have very similar brain when it comes to, of course, we're right around the same age too. So that we kind of came up in it at the same time, and we're obviously going to be pulling from the same honey pot, so to speak.
Exactly. All right. My next one, we're going to go back closer to the beginning. If you were going to take a bridge from what was 70s hard rock over to the beginnings of heavy metal, I would say this would be the last brick in the bridge you would step on before you got to true heavy metal. And that's Sin After Sin.
That's one of my favorite Priest albums. I love that record.
Oh, yeah.
I love bluesy Halford. He sounds so
I
good.
do too. But the track Sinner is fantastic.
Yep.
The whole album is.
Dissonant Aggressor. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Slayer covered that one.
Yep.
Yeah,
so good.
I even love Last Rose of Summer. What a great, beautiful song. So good.
I do too. Just realize this is the only Priest I don't have on CD. They're one of those bands where I have everything on vinyl and CD. Except
Priest, the old Priest stuff you got to have on vinyl, man. That's the way it sounds best for some reason.
Yeah, definitely. But I've been picking them up when I find them used, $5 or less. And I have seemed to find all the old ones except that.
All right. Great pick. Love that album. Jimmy.
Okay. This was like one of those oddball ones I was going to show earlier, but it's probably a good time for it now. A band that I don't really see discussed too much at the Metallurgy community, but I'm sure there's some people that dig this band. But it was a big one for me in terms of opening amazing tracks is Meshuggah's Destroy, Erase, Improve. This was like a major album for me in the late 90s in terms of like rediscovering what metal could be. We're talking about it, I was talking about earlier, those late 90s or mid to late 90s when things were kind of dying out for a while. Grunge was like kind of the big thing, and metal kind of took a back seat for a little while, but I had kind of jumped out myself. I mean, I was kind of just getting into college, and I just had a weird kind of period of time as far as music goes. Like I wasn't really listening to a whole lot of metal. I even had like a weird little stint with like, the new metal stuff that was coming out. Just didn't really know any better, really wasn't paying attention. And then happened on like a Nuclear Blast sampler that a buddy of mine had or something like that, and heard the song Vanished from this album, and was just absolutely blown away by like the forward thinking nature of this music. And I was like, wow, that's really something. That's something different. That's really like, man, this is like where things could go in a way. Like I always enjoy like progression in music genres, and I think that this kind of showcased something pretty new, because they showed that these guys, could show that they played in a way that was like almost alien. Like they're doing all this like polyrhythmic kind of stuff, but it was so heavy though, man. Like the guitar tone on this thing. It's an album that they never really quite replicated. I mean, they kind of went in a whole different direction after Destroy, Erase, Improve, with the more kind of dissonant style that they're still kind of known for today. And some of it's kind of hit or miss for me, but this one was like a lot more melodic. And Future Breed Machine, the opening track on here, a live staple for Meshuggah, and something that I think they still play to this day live. Anytime they play live, I go see them, because it's just kind of Meshuggah is kind of like an experience. A lot of their stuff it's a little harder to get into. Chaos Fear for me too. I mean, like the follow up to this, when it came out, I was just like didn't like it at all. I didn't understand it. It took me a while to really appreciate that album, and it's probably still to this day probably my favorite at this point. But Destroy Race Improve. I mean, when Chaos Fear came out, I wanted more of this, and they never really quite went back to it, because I thought that they had a really good, foot in like the more like atmospheric melodic kind of stuff, jazzy that they were doing on here. But Thomas Hockey, just as a drummer, I think that was just kind of one of the big things, because just hearing him play was just like an inspiration. Huge album for me at that time. Brought me back in hard, and from here I went all over the place, and I thank this album very much for that. But what an amazing opener, just iconic. I think there was a guy that like wrote a musical thesis, like a jazz thesis, just breaking down that first track, because there's just so much detail in the way that they play in 4/4, but it's like so much more going on than just 4/4 time signature. They showed that you could kind of like do, like the riffs are all like the polyrhythmic stuff, like the drums, like the hi-hat and the snare are on the 4/4, but the bass drums and the guitar riffs are somewhere else completely. It's just amazing that they could pull that off in such a cool way. But yeah, very iconic and inspirational nostalgia for me. Meshuggah, Destroy Race Improve.
I gotta say, Meshuggah is one of those bands that I always respected, but always felt like I wasn't smart enough to listen to them.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean,
one of those bands.
It's hit or miss, I mean, to me, like I like that record is pretty easy to listen to. I mean, I could see that applying to like kind of their later stuff, because it's really just, they kind of just went in this weird kind of direction. That one's probably like the most listenable. I mean, even like the earlier stuff is like, and it sounds like Metallica, just a little bit more advanced in a way. But yeah, it's not for everybody.
All right. Active bunch in the chat as always. Thanks everybody. You rule. Okay, I'm up next. Where are we going here? We're going with this. My favorite Deicide album. We've got
oh yeah,
can't remember the name of it. Lunatic of God's Creation. Yeah. I think Sacrificial Suicide might be the better track of the first two, but yeah, I mean, this is one of those Florida bands that really they didn't sound like all the rest of the Florida bands to me. They're a similar sphere, of course, and of course they're all recording at the same place, but there's just something really kind of nasty and a little bit twisted about this stuff. The first two albums in particular. Afterwards, they kind of lost me. Once Upon the Cross, I like. Those are Serpents of the Light. Is that the name of the album?
Yeah,
decent, but this first album to me is their peak. Legion got a bit faster, but still a really good record, short and sweet. But this one here, just great hammering US death metal, super evil. I like the layered vocal style of Glenn. You got the lower, then mixed with the higher over the top. It just nice contrast. Obviously, he had to pick a lane when he did it live, but yeah, Lunatic of God's Creation, great, firing off a amazing album from start to finish. Heavy as hell. Classic band photo too. Just standing in front of Jesus there. Yeah, 100%. Look at those young guys. But yep, absolutely killer. Great.
Yeah, excellent pick.
Yep, excellent pick indeed. I was gonna pick Once Upon the Cross. That's my favorite. I just love the way that one comes in. But that's a great pick.
I always hated that album cover. Just really lame album cover.
Yeah, both versions, the edited and the. But isn't Lunatic about Manson?
Maybe.
You're usually very anti serial killer stuff.
Yeah, that shit. The glorification of serial killers, I do not get. I
maybe I'm wrong. I thought that song was about.
It might be, or Jim Jones. I mean, it could be either or.
Yeah.
A cautionary tale type of lyric is great, but bands like Macabre, where they just kind of they go to prison and take pictures with Gacy or buy his art. I do not see why you want to touch that form of evil. It's disgusting.
Yeah. This is a little different, but yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I had two Macabres, and I think I traded them both in. All right.
Great band, but I never feel the need to listen to them.
Yeah. Jimmy went with Covenant. I'm going with Altars.
I almost picked Altars too.
Yeah.
Mortal Rights. That album is so great.
Yeah.
They never really sounded like that again either.
Nope.
True. This was the one album that, like when you look back, I listened to it for the first time way before I was ready for it. Whenever anyone tells a story like that, I always think of Altars, because when I heard that on college radio, I was like, this is madness. This isn't even music.
Yeah.
And then like 2 weeks later, I was like, can I borrow that Morbid Angel? I want to copy it.
My first ever connect. I've told this story a million times. Hearing Morbid Angel was going to that Michigan Death Fest 1, and they were the headliner.
Yeah.
I was there to see Sacrifice, and I saw nothing but death metal bands Sacrifice. So the guard was changing. The thrash bands were starting to get phased out really quickly. But yeah, Morbid Angel came out. It was during the Altars of Madness era. They just completely blew me away how amazing they were. So good. Playing that fast, and they sounded so tight and clean, and their smoke machine filled up the hockey arena we were in. You could just see Vincent out front playing there, posing, and spotlights on him. He was just commanding the crowd. They're so great, man. What a great band.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Good pick.
Talk for a minute, Jimmy. I need to go visit the boys' room. I'll be right back.
All right. Let's see. Well, I mean, nobody's done a Metallica record yet, so may as well do one. And you can probably pick any of the first four, all great openers. But for me, I think Blackened is the opener for me when it comes to Metallica. And it's a hard pick, man, because Fight Fire with what's the first track on Ride the Lightning? Is it Fight Fire with Fire?
Yeah, Fight Fire with
Fire. And then, of course, Battery.
Battery.
Absolutely amazing. But there's something about Blackened, man, it's just to me, it's like one of the most vicious Metallica songs ever written. And I love the way that it just like fades in with that the guitar harmony like thing that they're doing in the beginning, and it just breaks right out. Now we can say what we want to say. I mean, the bass is completely non-existent in here, and it's kind of a tragedy in a way. I don't know if you've ever heard the Justice mix that they put out on YouTube with the bass. It sounds killer. That said, I still am okay with the way this sounds, just because it's been there since I was young, and it's always the way I've known it to sound. So I've always been fine with that. Only later on did I become more like, yeah, that's right. Why is there no bass? And why didn't I never really had a problem with it before, but I kind of have a problem with it now. Because I know Newstead really probably busted his ass being his first record. Right. I did wonder what Cliff would sound like on this thing. But, going from an iconic bassist like Cliff to, a new killer bassist like Jason and just completely cutting him out the mix never, ever made any sense to me.
No.
And I've read the story, and it just, none of it makes any sense whatsoever. But, that said, beyond all that, Blackened is a killer opener to, I think, is a killer Metallica record. Really
I've come around. Me and the kid listened to that on a drive the other night, and I'm like, God, I remember liking this a lot less. I liked it. I thought it was way better than I remembered it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this was where I came in too. I mean, I saw the one video, on MTV or whatever. That was the first thing I ever heard by Metallica. I was absolutely blown away, and I still love that song. It's just such a perfect
weird
song.
Riff. It's a weird riff, but so cool.
It's weird. And I've always been an advocate for Lars. I think he's kind of a tool, but I mean, as far as his drumming, I've always been, he's always done weird stuff. Like as a drummer, if you try to go like play Battery or Fight Fire with Fire, the shit he does, like he does it like in a way, like especially with like Fight Fire with Fire, it's like the beat is not supposed, like the downbeat is where the upbeat is supposed to be. It's like, it's really weird. And then he changes it on the next verse. So like if you try to play it correctly, you fuck it up every time because it doesn't make any sense. It's weird. It's the same with Battery. It's like you try to play that the way he does it. I don't know. I always think that he just kind of brute forced his way through it. But you know, as far as a drummer, he's always done things that were really cool. If anybody doesn't believe me, there's a video that the drummer for Revocation did. I forget his name, but he did this breakdown of why Lars did stuff that was really cool, and he shows like these little moments that you would never notice, and he kind of replicates what he did, and it's like, wow, that was actually a really smart move there. Okay, so he's not, you know, he's always just been kind of a in the pocket player, never a technical amazing drummer or anything like that. But
he's a drummer for
that
Metallica. Any other drummer would have been a weird change for them. Yeah.
It would have, it wouldn't have made sense. And you know, his performance on this is probably technically his best, maybe next to Master of Puppets, but yeah, Blackened, great opener. You know, for me, that's the opener for Metallica.
That's cool. Can I show one quick thing that ties into that?
Yeah.
It's a funny thing that ties in two Jimmy things tonight into one. Here is my high school copy of And Justice for All.
What is it with you guys losing the cover artwork?
Yeah, this is my story where I lost
Pull your shit together. God.
This is the original. It's got the red border that was on Enigma. And then I finally,
that's mine too.
Just last week, I found a used copy because I was like, I'm not going to pay more than $5 for Injustice.
Well, you could go to Walmart. That's why I got my kids' copy. It was at Walmart for $5. Yeah.
I do love it, but I wasn't going to search it out too much and got this, the new one on there, Blackened. And this is what I can't remember. So maybe Jimmy can clear it up with his copy. I don't remember my booklet from high school being black. I thought it was white with black print.
I grew up with the cassette. It was all white in there, I think.
Mine's black too. And I know this is the because this is the one I remember, like the Covenant House or whatever it's called, where you get like 10 CDs for $1 or whatever.
Yeah.
The Covington House or whatever
Columbia,
it was.
Yeah, Columbia House.
Columbia. And it was a whole scam kind of thing. And it was bullshit. Well, I did that. Yep. And this is one of the CDs I got from that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this, and it is all, it's all black.
Oh, it is black. Okay. It's just my old man brain. Okay.
Because I think the cassette, it unfolded, and I thought it was the cassette insert was all white.
Oh, maybe that's where I'm at.
That could be it.
Okay, because I have both.
I could go look. I don't know if I still have the tape. I might. We'll check the next time around here. That was Jimmy. Okay, we talked about this album a couple weeks ago on Album Club, but yeah, worth mentioning again. Forbidden Evil by Forbidden. Chalice of Blood fires this off. You want to talk about a banger opening track to an amazingly well-written thrash record? Yep. The guitar work, LaCicero and the other guy, I can't remember his name. What a guitar duo. And of course, Russ Anderson's voice completely soaring above the wreckage, essentially. But they're one of those Bay Area thrash bands that really stood tall, I think. And I think with the notoriety and the popularity of the other bands, I think they were kind of overlooked in a lot of ways. You know, Twisted into Form, I think they refined their sound quite a bit more. I think it's a little bit better album, but man, this is a complete ripper from start to finish with a very strong, unique singer and amazing guitar work. But yeah, Chalice of Blood fires this off, and it ends with Follow Me. What a great song that is too. Holy shit. But yeah, Forbidden Evil, amazing.
Yeah, I saw them at MDF last year, and they did a lot of that record. Forbidden Evil.
That's nice. Yeah, the new guy, Norman Skinner, he seems to be a pretty decent replacement for Russ.
He was awesome. Yeah, and I won't say how, but I got to hear a couple of the new tracks they're working on. With Chewy is in the band now, Daniel Mongrain, and it's fucking awesome. Cannot wait for their new record.
The song they just released, I hated the video. I hate that AI video shit, but the song was okay. It didn't blow me away.
Did they release something already?
Yeah, they put out a video here a month ago or so. Yeah. What was it called? Dimension Zero or something with zero in it. I can't remember.
There's a new track?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
there's
know
a video for it. All right.
Check that out.
Daryl, I'm going to go see if I can find my tape real quick and I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, Forbidden Evil, I kind of teased you guys that I was going to jump in on Wednesday and give you guys crap because that's a classic I do not care for. I kind of think of it as a sister album to Violence, but where Sean Killian is kind of the voice of a psychotic, out of control adult, Russ's voice is a tantruming child in my ear. And I no disrespect to his skills. It's just how my ear holes take in that Forbidden. Those first two tracks, Off the Edge and Blood of Chalice of Blood, I'm like, ooh. Middle of the album, I really dig.
Yeah, it's good.
And yeah, but it's really only Russ's vocals that turn me off to that one. But Twisted into Form rules. Here is my next pick. When I was in high school, we went to the Injustice for All tour twice. When it came around the first time, we got Queensryche. When it came around the second time, The Cult was opening. And I've always been a big Cult fan. So I convinced all my metalhead buddies that we were going to drive 4.5 hours to see a tour that we've already seen once, because I wanted to see the opening act. And The Cult came on and they opened with Sun King.
Oh yeah.
Starts this album, which is just such a great track that builds and builds. And they're just starting to build up and come into form. And they shut down the show and they left because everyone was throwing beer bottles and just wanting Metallica. And I was like, oh my God, I never hated my metalhead brothers so much. I was like, I drove 4.5 hours, guys. I'm going to start punching people. But they came back out with a warning and, the nonsense stopped and they did a great set. But Sun King, great opener.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a killer record.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in real quick here, Jimmy. We were just talking about my original tape from back in the day. Yep. Well, it's black on the inside. Yep, it is black. Okay.
Okay.
Part of it was white. I remember that. But
weird. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. All right. Jimmy, you're back.
Well, I mean, this is a pretty iconic opener. Cannibal Corpse, Tomb of the Mutilated, with Hammer Smash Face. I mean, come on. It's probably the most famous Cannibal Corpse song ever. And actually made it to Ace Ventura. But it is a good song. I think every time they play, I bet you'd be hard pressed to ever find a Cannibal Corpse show where they don't play this song.
Well, they got to kind of.
Yeah, as much as and you
it's their Iron Maiden song, the song Iron Maiden. You got to close the set
and
with
they
that.
play like probably. I mean, can you imagine how many shows those guys still play to this day a year? It's just insane. I mean, every time I look, there's a new Cannibal Corpse tour coming through town. Like, every next 2 or 3 months they'll be back in town again. It's just I'm kind of amazed at the just the energy those guys have to just constantly be on the road their age, but they're still killing it. I'm a Cannibal fan. I mean, some albums are better than others, but they're one of those bands that still, kind of makes the same album over and over again, but they still do good stuff. Every now and then it's great. But it's a great record. I mean, this is where they started to get a little more technical. I love all the early Barn stuff. Love the old logo. And, what do you say about Hammer Smash Face? I mean, it's pretty
great song.
Yeah.
Iconic,
Buffalo.
Yep. Akron.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it nice having those old tapes like this? Like this tape.
Yeah.
The day I bought this, it was the day I had to harvest all the dog crap out of the dog pen. My parents had some dogs in a pen. I had to go clean the pens out, and I had my Walkman listening to this tape.
Yeah.
So this album has seen some shit, literally.
You remember it though, it's like little relics.
Yes. Again, my DNA's in this shit. It's weird. It's to put that much focus on something like that. It's like, no wonder I'm poor.
Seeing those makes me sad, though. That's the one thing I didn't retain. My mom asked me one time, do you want to go up and get all those cassettes from the attic? You're going to want them one day. I was like, no, not cassettes. I'll take the CDs and the vinyl. keep those things. And I think what was in there, I had the debut Rigor Mortis, an original. Speaking of Primus, those Blind Illusion.
Yeah.
I had some stuff that's hard to find now. And I had my cassette copy right from high school.
You just never know.
All gone.
I went through this thing where I just had a mountain of tapes. I mean, because that was all that's what it was, either vinyl or tapes before CDs took off. And then, but even the transition with CDs, I would buy CD. My grandmother got me a CD player for Christmas, which might have been $1 million at that time. When they first came out, they were so expensive.
Yeah.
But, I had all those tapes, but CDs were so expensive. I would still go to Camelot and buy tapes because I could get 2 tapes for 1 CD. So for a long time, I rode that horse. But then when the full change over to CDs, I, like everybody else, I would get the CD, I would give my tape away, or I take it to the pawn shop and sell it. There's this pawn shop in town that I would find all kinds of, back in the day, like all these awesome thrash tapes for $1. People would just dump their shit there. Well, I started doing it too, or giving them away to friends. And I kind of regret it now, because every once in a while I hate tapes, but I get that nostalgia bug where I started to learn how to fix cassette tape decks, because every time I go to Goodwill, I would buy, a $14 tape deck. I'd get home and watch a video on how to fix the belts, and I tear them apart, and I'm like, I fix things now. And then it made me all horny for tapes again. So I'd go out a couple days, I'd be spinning tape. After a while, I'm like, these suck. It's like up and down, but I start to think of all the shit I used to have and got rid of them. Why'd I do that? Or I start looking online, thrash metal cassette tapes. These old cassette tapes that are half ruined, they start at $30. It's like, yeah. And then you read the description, tested, works. So I bought a Cyclone tape. I was super excited to check out. You could tell they played it, but you get to the middle and the tape is eaten. I'm like, you fucker, you didn't test this. So I'm like, I'm not wasting money on old tapes anymore, because they're beat up, man. They're just beat up. They don't last.
Yeah. It's a shot in the dark with that. You never know. Yeah. And sometimes there are certain tapes I'll go for that even if I'm not going to listen to it, I just want it. Like I found a copy of Symphonies of Sickness on cassette tape, just with the original artwork. And I was just like, I have to have that, even if I'm never going to listen to the cassette. I've got it on vinyl. Yeah. So but just to have it and let it sit on my deck, I'm happy with,
Mm-hmm.
But that's just it's the old stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's, buying new tapes kind of seems dumb, but unless it's the only thing you can get, or it's just like, okay, I'll spend $10 for a tape. It's kind of nice. Dungeon Synth, stuff like that.
Yeah. But, even that you used to buy Dungeon Synth tapes all day for $5. Now they're $14, $15. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not worth it. It just isn't worth it.
No.
Yeah. And the funny thing here is Shred Boy 1, you know what? I grew up in the 8-track tape era. My parents had a lot of 8-tracks. I grew up listening to their Kenny Rogers and the Hank Williams shit. Mm-hmm. I had 3 8-track tapes. I had Ace Frehley's solo album. I had Kiss Dynasty, and I had the Star Wars soundtrack.
Cool.
Those were my 3 8-tracks, and then I started getting into records, and then that goes from there. Tapes.
I never had any 8-tracks of my own, but we had one in our Pinto. That's how old I am.
Yeah. And then my parents' vehicles had 8-track players in them, and when tapes started taking over, you get the adapter that's sticking. I'd have to stick the butter knife in there to hold it in place for it to hit the heads right. Put my tape in the top of it, and I bitched about why my tapes got eaten. It's because I was putting them in strange contraptions and in old wore out vehicles. But yeah, sorry for the tangent, everybody. We got off on track, but hey, old guys talking about their past here. Is it my turn? I think it is. All right. Well, this has been sitting on this one for a minute, but Manila Road's Crystal Logic. I mean, after the prologue, you get into the leadoff track Necropolis, which to this day is probably one of the first Manila Road songs I heard, thanks to my friend Jeff Wagner. He made me he couldn't believe I never really heard them, so he made me a mixtape of a lot of his favorite Manila Road songs. So that was the first instance, which I wore that thing out, and then once I got all the Manila Road records, I passed the tape on to my friends Jack and Joel, and they still enjoy that tape to this day. So some tapes can go the test of time. It's rare, I guess, but yeah, Necropolis Let's talk about a band that made a big change. They started off as kind of a street rock band, weird prog influences, kind of rushy and just really weird. And then the second album, Metal, they started to change a little bit. They started to grab onto the more Manila Road sound, which would stand the test of time. But on this album, this is the one where they kind of fully go into that epic metal thing. And Necropolis, Mark Shelton's voice, he sounded like a deranged wizard, and people either hated it or loved it. And I finally ended up falling fully in love with this band. I own everything they've done, all on vinyl, except for the Circus Maximus. I have that on CD. I don't need that on vinyl. But what a classic album, classic band, a very unique, strange US band that I'm glad they reunited, and Mark was able to, the rest of the world caught up to what he was doing. It seems like when they reformed, that's when people were like, yeah, Manila Road, we love them. Whereas I think they had more notoriety in Europe when they first started, not here in America, but I think everything caught up. It's good to see. And then they continue to put out records that were mostly excellent up till the very end. So rest in peace, Mark the Shark.
Mm-hmm.
What a great band. All right.
That one took me even longer than Scanner. In fact, when I met you, when I found your station online, Marty, that was the first band name I wrote down.
Really?
Ooh, I like the way he describes that. I got to check out Manila Road.
Right on.
I finally got to it about 6 months ago.
Nice. Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, cool.
I loved the one we did for Album Club, and then I bought Crystal Logic, and I own Deluge.
Yeah. Great album.
And then heard one more. I can't remember which one. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, Atlantis Rising I got that as a promo. I had Jeff's tape and I got the promo for Atlantis Rising when they got back together, and the Atlantis Rising blew me away. Like, wow, this is an old band sounding surprisingly modern but retaining a weirdness, and that album is great. I love that record so much. That's why I pulled it for Album Club. I figured when people talk about Manila Road, it's the early shit. Now let's do the rebirth. So anyway,
that was nice. Yep. All right. Next, Jimmy pulled Megadeth early with the one I thought would be pulled, but for me, it's Wake Up Dead. Not my favorite track on here. Actually, one of my lesser tracks on this album, but that riff. Oh, yeah. I think it is such I don't even know what to call it. Like a guidepost for being a metalhead. Like if I played Wake Up Dead, I would like to look around and at least see people give me a little bit of a headbang. Yeah. It's almost like that's Metalhead 101 to see if your genome expresses that gene. You just play Wake Up Dead and see if you see someone start headbanging. But I mean, just from a lyrical theme, I remember thinking as a kid, even I was like, who is this jackass writing a song about cheating on your spouse? Like, what a dick. But that riff rules.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was kind of a dick. So
yeah. He was.
Or he is kind of a dick.
I got to say, about a month ago, my kid, we were at a record store. He bought a copy of Killing Is My Business. And we listened to it on the way home. And I got to say, Rust in Peace is my favorite Megadeth album. Killing might be my second favorite. That album is so freaking awesome. You talk about a guy that had shit to prove. He wrote great songs, and the way that, everybody's like, oh, the production sucks. I love how loud the drums are. Gar is just ripping ass on that album. His fills are so tasteful, and his speed is right on top of it. And it's just so much character and class in a lot of ways. I mean, I think Killing is better than Kill 'Em All. It just, even though he had a hand in sculpting that as well, I love Kill 'Em All, don't get me wrong, but Killing Is My Business. It sounds so much more vibrant, and God, it's such a great record. It stands up. So his voice sounds really great too. His singing is not marred by years and years of touring and singing outside of his range. And
Right.
what a great record. That might be, if Rust in Peace didn't exist, it would be my number one. I like Peace Sells too, but wow. Killing was just
business is my number one.
It's just, it comes from a different, for that time and era, it's coming from a different planet, man. And they're out to kill, and it sounds so great. What a great record.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I'll never understand why he was so upset with the Metallica thing, because I always thought they were the superior band, Megadeth.
Well, hindsight's 2020. I mean, that band skyrocketed to the top of everything, and it seemed like Megadeth was kind of floundering. And even though, I mean, Rust in Peace trumps anything Metallica ever did. I'm sorry, technicality wise and songwriting and just guitar antics, it's just way beyond anything Metallica was capable of doing. 100%. And I'm not saying that to be a dick. It's true. I still love the Metallica stuff. Don't get me wrong, but we can like both, right? But if you had to compare, I think Dave had just so much more going on musically. I think him and Cliff were the two driving forces of that, early on stuff. It just, this for musicality anyway.
Yeah.
But then on Peace Sells, that modern thrash, major label production, they put so much reverb on Gar's drums. You can't really tell what he's doing. It's just a lot of thumping back there. Whereas Killing, it's right out front and it's tight as hell. It sounds so great. What a great drum. That's a great drum album.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, another tangent.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? It's after midnight. Maybe one more round each, or after we get through this one, do one more. Is that good for you?
I was just gonna say I've got one album left I'm looking at. So
all right, cool.
Yep.
Right, Jimmy.
Well, I mean, just kind of in the spirit of, I showed a couple of records where, like, we talked about, like, obviously opening tracks are very important. And, I think we've focused a lot on, a proper opening track. But I gave a couple of records where I like to talk about the opening song that prepares you for the rest of the record. And I know you like this one, Marty. I'm not sure if you picked it, but just like that Ruins record I showed and then the SYL, this one does a similar thing for me, which is Windear's Arn Tour.
I almost picked that too, but the intro track is so long and substantial. I'm like, maybe that's stretching it a little bit. That album is amazing. I love that record.
It's never been like this. Is another one that's just never been replicated. I mean, there's
even by him.
No, not even by him. I mean, the follow-ups to this I like, but
I like the debut too. That's really good too. But
he's good. But this is the one for me. I like all of them for sure, but like the follow-ups, like they're good records, but this one, it's just so magical and just so something else. And I think that the first track on here, is just a long kind of intro track, the beginning. Leading into Onshore a Warrior, which is the proper first track, which
so
is amazing. But man, I feel like that track On Tour would not be the same without the beginning in front of it, because that accordion keyboard thing, the melody really just prepares you and brings you into this world. The Son the metal, and the region of the Son, it's like one of those regions of Norway that's like you wouldn't even know about if it wasn't for Windear, and I've like done my own like sort of deep dive on Valfar and the band, and kind of learning about his history and where he comes from and why, how a lot of that folk music, that native historical music in the region influenced his black metal, and it shines really, really hard in this album. Just the melodies, the way, especially it's showcased by the accordion, right? Like that's what really kind of makes the sounds, but like he kind of takes that and runs with it with the guitars, and it flows through the entire record, that sound, and nothing's quite like it. The Sonda metal, it's like I like to call it. Or that I think that's kind of what he called it. But it's an interesting history to dive into, and to go like look at that region, kind of see where he was from, and ultimately, what led to his fate. It's all an interesting story that's still a little unknown. But yeah, again, it's just one of those tracks that it really just gets you prepared and opens up the world. And what you can see on the cover, you feel like you're just standing there with a sword ready to walk out, into the wintry wilderness. So, but yeah.
Good pick.
Hell yeah. All right. Okay, 2 more. I'll just do this one next. We talked about Van Drunen earlier. This here, The Rack. God damn it. This album is absolutely devastating. After the intro, you go to Vermin. Ugh. This band is mostly death metal, but they also have a death doom quality to their sound too. They're just lumbering, heavy, crunching, and the way this album is produced, on the speakers turned up, it could shred your speakers. It just has that ferocity to the sound. And Van Drunen's voice, absolutely sick. Hey, all right. Wade just scored a copy of Killing for $5 on Amazon.
Sweet.
It's probably the censored one with These Boots, has all the beeps on it.
Nancy's, yeah, that's horrible.
That's the one my kid got. It's so Parker's like, what's going on with all these beeps? I'm like, oh, the original artist didn't like his lyrical changes, so he had to go back and edit them. Yeah. But yeah, Asphyx the Rack really shouldn't have to be. This is their second album. Embrace the Death is the debut, with Theo Lumens on vocals. Rest in peace, Theo Lumens. But this is just a devastating album. And Century Media during this era could do no wrong, man. Also, another Century Media classic, Where No Life Dwells by Unleashed. I pulled this for Where No Life Dwells. Another great album, great band. Unleashed just put out a new album that's really quite good. I was quite surprised.
Awesome. Love it.
But yeah, the Century Media era during this time was so special. They just had their finger on the pulse of what was going on in Europe for death metal, for sure. All right. Last round, Sir Frosty. What have you got?
That one is my favorite Van Drunen performance, actually, even over
Agreed. Agreed. He sounds so miserable and distraught in his performance.
Good stuff. Yeah, and that's a cool find by Wade. I didn't mean to destroy it by saying it sucks. I just hate those beeps. And I wish Boots was at the end of the album like a cover should be.
Yeah. And I like that cover. I always got a kick out. People hate that. I thought it was cool.
I'm one of the hate group.
I like it.
All right, my last pick breaks all the rules because this one has a well-established long intro, and I picked it anyway. Mostly just because this is what I was spinning when I was pulling records for this tonight, and it's Kentucky. Just the way he goes from that first acoustic track, Bernheim Forest in Spring, and it's just a kick in the teeth transition to Body Under the Falls.
Yep.
Just, it just brings you in with the atmosphere of the region and the story you're going to hear, and then the kick in the teeth of the brutality of that story. And, kudos to Austin. This one is amazing, amazing. I found this copy used in my local. It's not going to show. It's too bright. But used in my local store before I even knew your community.
Yep.
Is that nice like swirl looking?
No, this is the opaque green.
Okay. Because the one I've got's got the same art. The art was a little different.
It's been repressed so many times.
Yeah. Love it.
Great record. Yeah. I almost pulled that one too.
Kind of the one that blew up for him, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, God, what to pick? I still had a few, but one more is totally fine. May as well just pick one of the most influential albums of all time for me. It's pretty close to another one that I would probably put right next to it, which I'll mention, but Death's Human. Flattening of Emotions.
Great.
This is my favorite Death record. This is the one I came in on. I love all the Death stuff, but for me, Reinhardt is my favorite drummer of all time. And as somebody who was very impressionable as a young drummer and trying to learn how to play, this was there and just never could do anything that Reinhardt could do. I mean, but just knowing he was like 19 or something like that when he recorded this. It's just wow. You know, still to this day, it's just so amazing sounding. You know, he nailed the double bass stuff and nailed just like the little jazzy. You know, he never like overdid it with this record. He still kept it a death record. You know, but even though they really progressed from spiritual healing to this, having Masvidal and Reinhardt on here, and I would have put Cynic's Focus here as well with Veil of Maya. But Flattening of Emotions, man. I mean, just like when I first heard that, like I had heard like really fast double bass at the time, like listen to Slayer and you know, Morbid Angel, but there was just something about the precision of Reinhardt on this. It's such a just killer, ripping, fast trap to start with on this album. And yeah, absolutely amazing. You know, I don't know what else to say. It's just so good.
Classic.
It still resonates just as hard as it did when I first heard it. One of the first, you know, the first 3 death metal records I ever heard was Death Human, Carcass Necroticism, and Deicide's debut. A buddy of mine had dubbed me tapes of all 3 of those. And those were like, you know, opened a whole new world for me. But this one especially, man, it was just, I remember like thinking like these guys it was those days, like, you know, when you didn't know, like they had the pictures of the guys in here, you didn't know anything about these people, and you just hear this music and you're just like, sound like aliens, like from another world. Like, how do they play this stuff? It's absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, man, so influential. Same tape I bought, still plays just fine and great. I've got it on CD and vinyl as well. Nice. But one of my favorite records of all time, for sure.
Right on. All right. Well, for me, Total Devastation by Destruction. It starts off with Curse the Gods. What an absolute banger, classic thrash metal, German classic.
Yeah.
You know, another one of those bands. It was back in the day where you could have 15 bands in the same scene, same country, and they all have a similar vibe, but they sound different from each other. Destruction didn't sound like Creator. They didn't sound like Sodom. They didn't sound like Tankard. They didn't sound like, you know, name whatever thrash band. Death Row. They didn't sound like any of those guys. They sounded like Destruction. And even though this album has got a really weird, super weird production, God damn it, there's just absolute bangers from start to finish. Some of their classics on here: Life Without Sense, Confused Mind, United by Hatred. Oh, what a great record. Classic band, classic album, amazing lead-off track.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah,
with that, I think we did plenty of damage. Well,
Yeah.
what do we talked about? Almost 100 records tonight. So
Nice.
that's a lot of ground covered. And of course, people are complaining of what we didn't pick. We could do, there could be a monthly version of this, I would think, for into forever.
Yeah,
Someone
there's so many variations.
Someone said do worst leadoff tracks on otherwise great records, which is a great idea. But you know what? How hard that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would be really hard. That's a hard homework. And then when you have the same pick that someone else does, it's like, oh no, I mean, I have enough to make it for 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's how the discussion was on Discord when Peter and I started. I was like, an album where the last song is the only good song. And I thought of Jugulator, and I was like, I don't know where to go from here. And I was like, it's too narrow.
Yeah, too hard.
Yeah, you'd have to go. I mean, you know, you'd have to go listen to stuff you never listened to before, you know.
Right.
Yeah. To find a last song that's really great, that the rest of it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one wants to acknowledge the shit they hate. You know, something that buried deep in an album, you don't tend to think about it. You think about the good in those albums. But
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and we had a great time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Topic. Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have anything they want to end with before we jump?
Hopefully gonna do a Halloween episode. It's probably gonna be my next thing.
Cool.
I'm trying to new videos. Like I'm trying to tell a story, you know, like I'm trying to take it further and, adds something additional than just like me hiking in the woods or whatever. It gets boring after a while. So I'm trying to like come up with some cool ideas, some history, some supernatural stuff, to kind of fit in with the ruins type vibe. So hopefully I've got a whole other thing, but I feel like we don't really have time to talk about it because it'll take me a little bit to explain this kind of crazy story that's happening from my past in a band that I used to play in. And maybe next time I'm on, I'll tell you a little more about it because it's not quite there yet with what's coming with it, but it's a really interesting story, and it's going to be something that might involve some YouTube stuff as well, bringing back some music from my past that's found an audience that we had no idea about. And,
well, that's amazing. Great.
Yeah. And so like this music was never released. We're looking to get it out there. I don't want to go too far into it because it's a long story, but it's a very, very interesting piece of internet lore that is really cool. So maybe next time I'm on, I'll tell you a little bit more about it.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, you folks around the Metallurgy parts will see more of Jimmy, I'm sure, coming up with reviews, and he'll be back on the stream. Same with Frosty. He'll be back on for sure as a guest, and go check out both of these guys' YouTube channels. Links are in the description, and show notes next week. We're the album club is covering Dope Sick by I Hate God. There is a review that Alan has shot that I need to get up for next week, and I'm trying to get my crap together and shoot a review as well. So stuff is coming on Heavy Metallurgy. Everybody in the chat, you rule. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want more of this throughout the week, join the Discord server, link in the description. Very, very awesome community there talking about music all week long. It's easy. It's like a message board, kind of in real time type of thing. It's really cool. Never was a Discord guy. My kid was into it. He's the one that kind of convinced me to do it. So anyway, until next week, take care. Alan will be back next week. Cheers.
Thank you, guys.
Good, guys.